Welcome to Wednesday Comics Halloween Edition. To my right, Spider-Man himself, the web slinger. Alex, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I don't know whether or not to refer to you as Alex or Peter, so I was.
Yeah, we're having a flipping good time. Get it?
And across from me, the Man of Iron himself, Tony Stark. How you doing?
You know what my secret is? I am. Oh God, fuck! I am Iron Man. Oh jeez, it's hot in there. Jarvis turned off the AC, and it's like woo. I mean, it's like.
And I am Rocky Balboa. There ain't gonna be no rematch. I'll tell you that much.
Italian Stallion.
But there is a rematch, so like, who am I to say?
Only like 5 movies worth of rematches.
Hey, there ain't gonna be no rematch. Maybe next movie though. But, I got to make some money.
But then we're gonna have a private fight where we don't tell anybody the outcome unless it's you're my bastard son.
So in the first movie, he trains with this, and then the second movie, he goes red bandana.
It's true.
And
he runs with kids.
Kids, yeah, they follow him. Who knows though? Like he might be running. He might be scared though.
Do you think that behind him he had suckers taped to the back of the sweater that you just don't see?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Those kids were after him. You remember that first movie he yells at those kids? Those are them. Revenge.
I know when he asked the 12-year-old if she has a boyfriend.
Rocky Balboa, he does it with his dog and wears black gloves instead. Step up from this.
Wow. Butt Kiss. That's the dog's name.
Butt Kiss.
You know that was his real dog in real life?
Really?
Yeah. There's a sad story. I mean, here we got some free talk. 2 seconds. So basically when he was making Rocky, he had to sell his dog to somebody so that he had enough money to live and everything. And after he started filming Rocky, they paid him obviously. And he sat outside the corner of a bar where he sold his dog for 3 weeks until he finally ran into the guy. He bought his dog back for $20,000 and gave the guy a starring role in Rocky. Not a starring role, but a role in Rocky, like a cameo.
Wow.
Just to get his dog back. Butt Kiss.
Is that actually the dog's name too?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, I mean.
The more you know.
That's right.
Buckus?
Butt Kiss.
Yeah, he's in the first movie. He's stuck in the cage.
But he doesn't come in until the second movie.
He's in the first movie.
Really?
He's in the pet shop. He's in the cage.
Oh, right.
And then he buys them.
Right.
In the second movie.
For the record, I've only seen the first one. And
only the first Rocky?
And I've seen, I think, Rocky Balboa.
So you've seen 2.
I've seen 1 and 6?
Yeah. That, dude, you were missing out on some good pow-pow.
I've seen parts of 4. Is that where he fights Dolph Lundgren?
The Russian, yeah.
Yep.
You need to watch those all in order. Except, 5 you should watch on a technicality, but not really.
What do you guys dress up for Halloween before? Where were you last year, Garrett?
Last year? What was I last year? Halloween. I was Scooby-Doo at work. I can't remember if... It was on a Monday last year, Halloween was. I don't think I did a party or anything. I didn't go out. I can't...
You were Scooby-Doo last year?
Yeah, I was Scooby-Doo at work. I can't remember what it was. I
didn't dress up last year.
I don't think so either. I think it was like a Sunday, Monday thing where it was kind of nothing's really going on.
Because then the year before that, I dressed up as Clark Kent with my Superman shirt underneath.
I was the Joker.
What do you go... did you do anything this year? It's on a Tuesday.
I'm doing something the Saturday before.
That's what I mean, but you said it was on a Sunday.
I know, by the time the show comes out, last night, I had a good time, and this morning I'm hungover.
What did you do on Saturday?
Shit.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Huh?
You don't need to air your plans on tape.
I know my plans.
I know, but
Get fucked up and have a good time.
I was about to be like, what are you doing Saturday? And then tell everybody what we're doing Saturday. So
it'll be too late by then. It'll be Sunday. It's a time paradox.
What did you do last night?
Just saying, hit me up.
This is like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
This Rocky's going to get out there.
You got a Rocky?
You got
horror? And sort of a picture show.
I got to fly now. Bill Conti.
Oh, man. Bring on the Rocky puns.
For some reason, this is bothering me. That this looks weird right now. After there was a fiasco before the show started.
Where you almost biffed over the soundboard.
Well, hold on a second. Let me check something. You guys talk. What have you dressed up before in the past?
When I was younger, I dressed up as Walker, Texas Ranger.
I literally hate you right now.
Walker, Texas Ranger. You're not even Chuck Norris. He's just like, I'm Walker.
You're serious?
Yeah. I had a cowboy hat. I had...
Do you know how much I hate Walker, Texas Ranger?
Painted on beard.
What?
You're just low.
Oh.
And then had a green winter coat.
When you were going to pretend fight people, were you just like, hey, yeah?
I don't remember any fighting at all. It was just...
or
I
a
won't. We
weird
just-
roundhouse kick where somehow you're hitting with your right.
To be fair, I
but
don't think
your left
anybody
foot
knew who I
hits-
was. I was just a bearded cowboy. So
Have you ever seen Haley Joel Osment was on that show? You
No.
know, from Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I know.
I forget what the line
is.
I forget what the line is. It's something to the effect of he turns to like a lady and he's with Walker. And he goes, "Walker says I have cancer." And it's just like,
What?
right.
I should show you. that
Wow.
later. It's so weird.
What?
That show used to come on like at 9, like in syndication.
Saturday nights.
It's
It was
back.
Dr. Quinn.
It's back on reruns.
Do you hear
now.
this?
What
This guy knows the syndication schedule.
was it?
Dr. Quinn used to watch.
Dr. Quinn was, I think,
That's
like
a medicine
7 o'clock. Hercules was like at 6.
What was?
Magnificent
Hercules?
7. The Hercules with Kevin Sorbo. I remember watching it on Saturdays. Maybe it wasn't at night, but he used to have all these, what I thought were cool
To be
shows
fair,
back then.
did you live in the middle of nowhere still? Was
No,
that? Oh, no.
This was when I lived in Sioux Falls.
Ah, well then.
We don't call them steel trap for nothing.
There's old things that don't matter.
Well, it's not his memory that surprises me. It's that this guy was watching all these Dr. Quinn, Hercules,
See, I was watching
Xena.
Zorro, Power Rangers,
Zorro.
Watch
Zorro reruns.
As I watched Power Rangers, but Zorro was like a 60s show.
It was.
Yeah, it's
and
old.
it's. I
older
bet you
than
$1 million if there was only 13 episodes of Zorro, that would kick Texas Rangers fucking ass.
There were
its
some
entire
episodes I remember of Walker being pretty decent, but I have season 2.
You'd have to strap me down to a chair. And
Chuck
tape my
Norris
eyes
trained
open.
by Bruce Lee. So, like, who has it up? Zorro or Bruce Lee?
I think if they hadn't done the slow motion every fight, it would have been actually a much better show.
You know what bothers you about that slow motion is that the frame rate's not high enough, so it doesn't look like true slow motion, so it looks like it's stuttering. That's what it is.
It looks like the camera's not slowing down. It looks like they're slowing down for the acting. Like they're like, instead of you hear the sound like the whoosh, 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 it's like them going.
Nice.
I dressed up as Planet of the Apes one year when I was little. Another year as I was Mr. Fantastic that one year.
Mm-hmm. Two-Face. That was my...
You were Two-Face. I was Nick Fury that year.
I'm bringing back. I was a Ghostbuster my sophomore year of college, but I'm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be
I
a
thought Corey
sexy. No, that was me. I'm going to be a sexy Ghostbuster. You want to know why? Slutty Ghostbuster to chest level is sexy Ghostbuster, and then up to the collar is nerdy Ghostbuster. So I'm staying at sexy. Just in case you were wondering.
Oh, the zipper. I don't know what the fuck you were talking
The weird
about.
thing is that hopefully Slutty only works on the girls. And then
No,
I thought your shirt.
gonna
I thought he
see
meant his shirt
my-
length. He's going to bring it up to his chest and be like, that's kind of
no,
weird.
they're going to
still,
see
buddy.
my Austin Power chest pubes down in my ball.
Why don't you just be Austin Powers? That's a big comeback this year. You see Baby Driver?
How's it?
Baby Driver?
The Austin Powers and Baby Driver?
Or he wears an Austin Powers mask when they rob the bank.
No. You know what? They need to make a fourth one of that. I don't care how stupid
I
it is.
already pitched it on Twitter. It's out there for Mike Myers.
Really? Yeah, I heard he's
I
kind of a
s-
dick.
I
to be
said
honest.
who?
Mike Myers.
Well, he is because he's not making my movie. He's hosting that Gong show instead.
Dumb.
What's he doing hosting game shows in 2017 when I
Right.
have prime material on Twitter? At Marvin_Salguero. Look at it. It's prime. It's ready out there.
But yet he goes back to Shrek every
I put good ideas on Twitter all the time. I at Taco Bell last weekend. I put a good idea for them out there.
What was your idea?
It's the best idea ever. I already got 2 takers.
I don't know if you've had that sweet chili taco. That's fucking...
No, here's the thing. A friend of ours got some machinery, medical equipment, restricted. Keep this on the down low, so don't spread this on.
Does his name
don't
start
spread
with
this on-
R?
Don't spread this on. Yeah, don't spread this on the internet. You got this.
I'll see you soon.
But he can make GMOs now, so we were coming up with GMOs, genetically modified. What's the old for?
organisms?
So you can make food, modify food.
Orangutans.
And so we're thinking of things to modify. People are throwing out very sane things. Make a carrot that tastes like hummus. All right. Make
A carrot that tastes like hummus?
Yeah. Make
Doesn't hummus have chickpeas in it?
Yeah, but if you genetically modify, you can do anything with it. So, and then people are like, make bananas that have more potassium because they actually don't have. They're not high in potassium, but people think they are. So actually make a high potassium banana and be like, fuck those other bananas. Here's the real deal.
Just put a little crack cocaine in
They used to be, but the bananas have been so like they don't have seeds anymore. They're like curved. They've been modified, so they don't have potassium. But they do, but a very small amount. But I was like, hold up a second. I got $1 million idea. I said,
GMOs
modify.
and tacos.
Will you fucking listen? Jesus Christ.
Do you know who I am? I have a short attention span.
Would you modify a chalupa that tastes like waffles infused with syrup, and then you put fried chicken in it, chicken and waffles? And I tweeted at Taco Bell.
So kind of like the McDonald's McGriddle, but with the chicken instead of sauce.
Did they make a chicken and waffles one?
Why don't you go to McDonald's? It already has the
does it
fucking
taste like a waffle?
technology to make a bread infused with
It's a
syrup
griddle.
and pancakes.
That's a pancake. I'm talking waffles. Fuck out of here with
flapjack.
that. The waffles hold in the syrup. I already got 2 takers, so I'm already on the market.
By 2 takers, you mean like Alex retweeted it and then another person?
Did I read-
He didn't like it.
Did I? Okay. Oh, that's
I didn't count his because he didn't respond.
Okay.
yeah, to be fair,
So
that-
2.5.
that's
I knew he didn't read
That's
it.
the first.
He doesn't read it.
And say, I just saw Marvin said something. I saw food related. I clicked. I liked it, but I thought, no, I don't want to retweet it. What if it's bad?
Why would you
retweet
like
it.
it then? You know, people still, when you like something, people still see it, like pop up in their time.
Yeah, I know.
Alex liked this tweet,
Of course.
but you won't retweet it. It's basically the same thing, except it doesn't show up in your timeline. They would actually have to be on Twitter and see it.
So if I retweet it, it goes on. It's like sharing on Facebook. Right?
It is on your timeline.
Okay.
But if you like it, actually, no, you can go to the like thing. And there's a like feed on your thing. You can see everything you liked. Just go on there and see all my tweets.
You know, going with this costume that I'm wearing, I mean, I'm just kind of fake myth busting.
You actually have an arc reactor. Where is it?
It's in my chest. It's right here.
Nice.
But I actually have the replica from Iron Man 2. It sits on my nightstand to ward off evil. But I don't leave it on all hours of the night, just a couple. But do you think, I mean, this is probably given, but Iron Man's helmet, like right now, you can't see it, but I'm sweating fucking balls. Do you think he's got like an AC going through
Oh
his
yeah,
head?
like you saw in
But when you see
Homecoming.
the movie, the screen looks like his head is this big, like Ultimate Iron Man style, but it's this big.
Do you always lean
So I
over
call
that much
bullshit.
for that mic? You know you can raise it up.
I know this. This
I
is
just,
different.
well, I just noticed because now you have a mask on.
Yeah, you see,
that you're
you
like,
see this
oh,
chin? It's like where my mouth should be, so I have to like tilt my face. So I will raise the bar. Get it?
All right, you raise that out. Shut off your mic for a second. And tell me when you're done. Or you're
I'm done.
Okay, we're good.
I'm Iron Man. I fucking got this.
Let me ask you.
This is like that little bitch robot that I fucking slap around all the time.
The one that sprays you with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah, after I fall on my
Yeah.
ass. Yeah.
Do you actually like Iron Man?
I love Iron Man.
Okay.
I know you hate him.
Well, I don't hate him. I don't find him interesting at all.
Well,
It's just
but I feel like now
I like old
in the
Iron Man.
movies,
when Matt
he's
Fraction was
like-
writing
yeah.
him, I like that guy.
I did read when Matt Fraction's run.
When
for
he
a
looked
bit.
like Josh Holloway, you read that? You watched
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, read it. You mean?
What'd I say?
Watch it.
Well, I watch everything with my eyes.
see
You know, watch.
everything.
Are you saying like wash? So you read and you wash?
Hey man, I say
And
what I
watch.
want to say. You know what I mean? And you,
Take him to
Spider-Man,
the zoo.
you were in the Spider-Man, and you talked about once how Spider-Man's your favorite character. Is that true? Or
Yeah,
not?
actually, I really love
You just
Spider-Man.
don't like Spider-Man.
I don't
right
like him
now.
currently right now because even his movie,
Except
Well, we'll talk about that later. Don't spill the beans.
Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man.
You know the
Oh,
comic we're talking
book.
about today?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not talking about
I'm
let's
sorry,
cut
no, sorry.
sunglasses and put it in a receipt.
No, he thought you
No,
meant Andrew
Like
Garfield.
my suit is
I mean, who doesn't
actually
mean it?
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
See, I just think of Amazing Spider-Man 2 as like Superman 4. Like we just don't talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know the only thing that was good about Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the suit?
Electro, come on.
The last 5 minutes.
No, I just think it was the suit.
Well, not the last 5.
Because I still can't get over that web that looks like a hand trying to grab her. Bugs the shit out of me.
I know.
Or when she's like, "Come on, I have to go. I'm the only one who knows how to do it." And he's like, "Okay, go in
Lift
there."
the cover.
And it's like
fun.
shut down. She's like, "Oh,
Big red button.
My finger is specially coated.
You know
to
what I
press
think
this
when I
fucking
ever
thing.
see that scene? Somebody wrote that was like, she has to do it. She knows all about that. And then they got to the thing and they weren't smart enough to figure out how it would be complicated. And they're like, just make it a button. Like
Why
they
couldn't
couldn't
they just be like Green Goblin and Spider-Man are fighting, and the only way to shut it down is like she's like, oh, like Peter Parker's getting the shit beat out of him. Why don't I go up there, shut this down? Like that was easy.
No.
Like you don't just say, oh, I know how to fucking press a red button. It's like literally a giant ass.
Well, that's what I mean. She acts like it's complicated. And when she goes up there, it's simple.
Yeah.
So somebody wrote ahead of time being like, this is going to be very complicated. And then when it came to the part for them to write how complicated it is, they couldn't figure it out. So like, make it a button. Oh, but just make
I
it a
like
button.
how it's too complicated for them.
Well, you know, you notice a lot of times, like especially when you're an expert in a certain field and you read a story or a comic or anything that talks about that field, you'll realize like, oh, that's not true. That's not true. And you find that all the time, like with stuff that you know.
To be fair, I'm not an expert in anything.
Well, I know, but like remember in what was
Walker,
it?
Texas Ranger, I guess.
Where they went into that trench
Oh, the Marina, yeah, and
metal
Maritime.
metal, yeah.
and metal, and then Alex is like shrimp don't exist down there, and like but when Scott wrote that, he probably was like, I guess shrimp would be on there, like squids and stuff. Or octopus.
There's an octopus that bugged me.
Which issue of Mental?
It's 3.
3.
But like, if you didn't know anything about marine
Oh, it was the seahorse. It was the seahorse that bugged
seahorses,
me.
not shrimp. Yes, seahorses.
To make a confession, I haven't read 3 yet.
Seriously?
Seriously, I know.
Oh, you were gone that
takes
week
place
that we
after.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a book coming up. Editor's note said, see Mental number 1. Never once did it say, see Mental number 3.
Flash did. This
No, it
week.
didn't. It says see Mental number 1, first page.
3.
I swear to God. Oh, God. I got
To be fair, I actually didn't look. I just read.
Well, we'll talk about it when we...
Because I was caught up on everything except for Merciless.
How does Iron Man turn pages? Like, these are cloth, and I can't even...
He has Jervis do it.
See Metal number 1.
Can I see that book real quick? Can you give me that?
Rips it in half.
Yeah, so like... I don't know. I thought it said at the beginning this is taking place after whatever.
Burn.
Sorry, I just arc reacted you.
Let me ask you one question before we move on to the review. So this is a Halloween episode. I'm trying to ask Halloween questions here, and you guys can tell you what you're dressed up as. And
I'm just kind of thinking Mythbusters for some reason.
what the fuck?
Is Rocky one of your favorite movies?
Hey man, you know what episode then of that movie?
I know.
Split decision. So, and you know this guy, he called me up. He said, "You know what? You know that movie? Cry every time." And I said, "Are you a wimp?"
Do you believe in the American dream? Apollo Creed does.
Hey man, don't talk about Creed that way. He was a good guy.
I knew.
I
Good
got
guy.
a really bad joke in my head. I'll tell you guys later.
American. You see Creed? Oh, you never seen any of these fucking movies? Creed's good.
Is
Yeah.
Creed good?
They announced Rocky. They announced Sylvester
Sylvester
Stallone
Stallone.
is actually going to direct Creed.
I think if anyone, if Ryan Coogler couldn't do it, I think that's the best choice. That's Sylvester Stallone's writing and
It
directing it.
because Rocky.
So that gives you time to catch up.
Rocky Balboa is really good.
You need to watch them all.
Yeah. I've
3
heard 1 and 2 are good. I don't know.
2
how
is
much-
amazing.
1 and 2 are good as good movies. 3 and 4 are like good popcorn movies. You would enjoy them. I guarantee you would enjoy them.
But
5,
the training, 3,
5 we
Rocky's
get- yeah.
fucking quick.
I've heard 5 is kind of garbage.
5 we can fast forward through. Or we can make fun of.
5 is like
6 is really
the
good.
epilogue of Rocky, and then 6 is like, now this is actually
6
the
is really
epilogue.
good, and in Creed is
Dumb
really
question. I'm sure everyone knows. So Rocky Balboa
Amen.
is he's fighting a young kid in his prime, right? As old Rocky. I mean, he's
No,
old.
not in his prime.
No. Come on, man.
No, I know it's not
Out of
Rocky
his
fighting
prime.
in his prime. It's the kid he's fighting in his
Old
prime.
man out there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. He's finding his opponent is like undefeated.
That's a
never got
23-year-old.
knocked out
Which movie?
in Rocky
Balboa.
Balboa. There's some simulation they see where he fights this guy and Rocky wins in the simulation. So the guy's like, "Fuck, that's fake."
That simulation's so awesome.
And he's like, "There's no way Rocky would beat me." So he challenges Rocky, and Rocky's like, "Hey man, I'm old. What am I gonna do?" And then his son comes back and like basically
He's like, Dad, I'm a little bitch in your shadow.
he's like, "You got to do it," or something. It's something I forgot. Something happens where he's like, "Yeah, I got to go back and do it. Let's do it."
Oh yeah, I remember that. The kid talks to him about.
And
doing
then he
the
goes to
fight.
Adrian's grave, R.I.P. Moment of silence.
Which doesn't make sense because she's still alive, but I guess for character development.
She wouldn't come back for the movie. That's why.
Yeah. She made a cameo.
What? In which movie?
That ghost scene, like when when he goes to their old apartment and she like fades out of the screen. That's actually her. She was credited in the movie.
Yeah, but that's like old footage from an old movie, from one of the older movies.
Yeah, I get that, but I think it was a motion capture.
Yeah, motion capture. They went 3D on
Not motion capture,
CGI
whatever it's
on
called.
Rocky Balboa. Hey, you don't want to come back. You don't want to be Adrian. How about motion capture? You know what
You
I
mean
mean?
you haven't peaked yet?
What?
Peaked? Yeah, peaked.
Hey, come on. You ever seen that War of the Planet of the Apes? Do that.
That's where you say, I got some stuff in the basement.
You know, you go in there. You ever seen any circus? You know what he is? Performance capture. Not motion capture anymore. They capture your performance. They don't call it motion capture anymore.
Whatever.
Get ahead. Fucking nanotechnology doesn't even fucking know.
All I got is Mickey quotes. I don't give a shit.
You know what? You've been talking too much. Saga number 48.
Burn.
Written by Brian K. Vaughan. Art by Fiona Staple. This is the story of Squire and Gus go off into the woods. They're out of food, so they're going to go attack this monster who's invisible. But Squire, he's the TV guy right here on the cover, can see it, only his insides.
Yeah.
So they're going to go out there and they're going to find this guy because otherwise they're going to kill his friend, Friendo, the walrus. And he doesn't want to do that. So they go out there and they're going to because they're hungry.
Go kill I think it's called the Knot or the Knout.
They've been waiting for Marco to come back for a while, so they're going to go out there and see what they can do. Really good. I thought it was really good.
It was really good.
Art was really good.
I have to admit there wasn't as much. I get the big reveal at the end was everyone showing up, but it wasn't as. I thought it was gonna be more action packed.
You know what? So did I thought. When we talked about Adventure, it was gonna be, but I liked that it really was more about both these people, Gus and Squire, are just. Gus is very a kind of animal who's more peaceful, and Squire's just a kid that's trying to figure out his place if he wants to be as like his dad or not be like his dad. His dad's very violent, and there's a part where he asks Squire, he's like, "I've heard my dad's killed women," and that shocks him. He's like, "I don't he doesn't want to do that." And Gus is like, "Oh, it's probably not best that you look into your dad's past. Do your own thing."
Yep.
And they go into the woods.
Can I say that dad suck?
And you can't.
I'm staying in character.
Okay. And you got to find another.
I should have dressed like Wolverine so I could stab you.
And for audio listeners, Garrett's folded mask miming.
Oh,
so.
Sorry.
So they go on to the woods and they finally find, what was it called?
I think it's the Knot.
They find this monster and Squire sees him. Gus doesn't see him in time, so he gets his battle axe thrown away.
Stolen.
And Squire's, he's like, "Oh, you got him. Shoot, your aim is true. Just shoot him," and he can't shoot him because he can't be like his dad. Yep. So he goes, "You know what?" He goes, Gus is like, "I understand. Do your own thing. You don't have to force yourself to be who do you want to be." And they go back, and then Marco's back. So I thought it was a nice little story about the morality in this world, because we've been told so far everybody's dealing with this war thing.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he says, "Man," he's like, "No, your dad was in war. He had to do some bad things." And he was like, "We've all been born into war. We're still at war." And Gus is like, "I guess that's true." But for Gus, he hasn't seen any of it.
No,
he's been on his.
He's like a rural farmer.
So when he's telling all this stuff to Squire really has been seeing all that from his dad's perspective, and finally when he gets down to it, he can't be his dad, and he realizes in those woods he doesn't have to be. And so I like that moment. Maybe we'll get a different kind of character. And at the end, we reveal that Hazel says that she meets her brother that day.
Which kind of threw me off because that's the first reference to him as a brother that we've heard. But
I think she just means metaphorically, not actually going to be a stepbrother. That's going to be your brother in arms. They're going to be part of
I didn't. Okay. Yeah. I didn't get that part. I was. All right.
So, grow up, be best friends, and be that person that she needs.
So if they hadn't killed the Knot to bring back the meat, they were going to kill Frendo. When they come back out of the forest, I actually did think they were going to kill Frendo. It was going to be his hand was going to be forced to have to kill her.
I didn't want to see that happen.
No, I tell you what, if that had happened, I was going to be pissed at this book. I would still love this book, but it was really going to damper my happiness.
Yeah, for an issue that I expected to be really dark, somebody to die, it really was more of an uplifting kind of issue going forward.
Because now the family is back together.
Yeah, and now we got a break. So you're right. I thought it was going to be this moment that was going to be a cliffhanger and all this action, and then to make us be what's going to happen next. But it really is this moment where they all come together, and you get this happy moment where it's a moment of peace, and now we get this break. But then I knowing that it's just momentarily, this is not going to last. So it's a nice, different moment to land on, I think, because a lot of the former breaks have landed on a cliffhanger. Yeah.
So it's usually, it usually does end on something big, where this is just the family, I'm a quote unquote, the families come back together.
The kind of brother part is kind of a cliffhanger. So, but you don't know what to expect. So it's not really whoa. It's kind of oh, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. It was a nice 9 for me.
And so it was a solid 9.
Art, amazing. I mean, we didn't want to mention, God, it was so good in those woods. Yeah. Ooh, Fiona Staples, excellent.
My only question, my only thing with that issue was when you saw Elena, she seemed really, her lines seemed so much darker than normal, more fuller.
I thought, especially, let me look at it again here.
Because it was...
Yeah. Oh, I think that's just the motion from Hazel's wings.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh.
I see what you mean.
Okay. Then never mind.
I thought you were talking about all the lines in her stomach, but that's just from her being pregnant.
Yeah.
It was good.
I thought about that too. I was like, oh, what are those? But she obviously didn't lose.
Yeah, just lost your kid.
Yep.
It was really good. It's really a book that surprises me when it comes out. Like I don't want to expect from it. And when I do try to think of like, oh, there's going to be an issue where there's a cliffhanger or something like that, it subverts those expectations. It's like, nope, we're going to be a mode where there's two characters who you haven't seen much of and have really good character moments with them.
And it was, I have to give this book credit. 47 was a nice character building book for the Will and to get the revenge from that mole lady. Then to get a Gus and a Squire issue was nice.
You know what's nice? You always get a lot of character moments in the woods where they go in as a child, they exit as a man. But in this one, he went in as a child and realized he doesn't have to push himself to be that man if he doesn't want to, and he leaves still the same kid.
Yep.
So I really like that. So, I mean, it's just like Grant Morrison in Claws. He went in and spoke, came out Claws. So like, this is different, but I really like this. You know what? Brian K. Vaughan says that any issue you can jump on in this series, which I think you can. I mean, there's enough in each issue where you can jump forward, but I think you'd be missing a lot prior, but it's not like very necessary if you want to read the rest. I would say if you're interested in this book at all, when the break comes back, it's probably going to be a point when you can jump on. And then, but you're like, oh, I want to read some of it. There's an issue. What issue was it with the zebra on the cover?
43.
43 is supposed to be a really good jumping on point. In that issue, he did a lot of good
catching you up
on what's going on. So you want to go back and get it from that issue.
I tell you, and if you are like me, except for you don't want to buy all the issues, they do have the big library editions out. I think it's the first.
Oh yeah.
13.
They have 2 of them, right?
No, the first 18, and then it's up to 36.
Yeah, you could get that and then get the issues from there.
I say one of my favorite days was that Tuesday that I binge read 1 through 45 or 46. No, 45. God, it's so good.
Really good.
But you know what else is really good? Amazing Spider-Man 790. Written by Dan Slott and Christos Gage. Art by Stuart Eminem. And I don't know why I'm going to say the cover artist is Alex Ross, who nailed it again. Did you read it, Garrett?
I am all caught up. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I just want to point out a little side note. Jarvis is only at 27% on the AC installation. We're getting there, but it's fucking hot in here.
I tell you what, I don't know how you're doing it, but this sweatshirt is just holding in heat.
I feel fine.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a sweat towel.
This guy is like, you're going to short circuit that equipment in there. I can see it jumping.
Just kidding. I'm here to stay. But yeah, so hashtag guest host 1 was telling me that the issue prior to this, which was the first issue of Fall of Parker, was really good. And he was fucking right. I mean, I was like, oh, what's Dan Slott going to do? Let me guess. Doc Ock's going to be the villain. I was just thinking of all Dan Slott's usual tropes that he does in his books. But it was all brand new stuff. Like Green Goblin was interesting. We got like a Sorcerer Supreme. I was in the last issue. This issue.
Oh, I was like,
sorry. That was the issue 32. Never mind.
Okay, I was like, no.
Sorry.
Last issue had nothing to do with Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin's going to come back into the fold.
Which is fine. My thing with, as much as I tell you guys I hated Green Goblin, it's just that I always think he's the go-to. Not in Slott's run. Slott's run is always Doc Ock.
In part 1,
I missed it.
I thought part 1 was really great start to the arc, and this part 2, I don't know how much I like Johnny being in the book. I felt like there was a lot of built up things about, hey, you're going to give us the Baxter Building back when the Fantastic Four gets together. I'm like, hey, we all know that Fantastic 2 book's coming out. So
Marvel 2 and 1.
Yeah, save that for then. I don't care. But I mean, Peter Parker and what's his name?
Human Torch.
Human Torch
or Harry.
The Human Torch are like really. I mean, besides Peter and Harry, they're like best friends.
Your helmet, and so your chin part of your helmet's throwing you off.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, but like it's hard. You need to remember that Johnny and Peter are actually really great friends too. Like, weren't they friends before him and Harry? I guess Harry was high school.
No, I was gonna say it's Harry. I think was always first, but it's Johnny was the first superhero friend he would have had.
Right. So basically, it's Peter. He's getting more obsessed with being Spider-Man again, which I love.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of the thrill of, like, when Batman goes into the night or, like, Superman goes on patrol or whatever they call it. Like, Peter's only escape as Peter Parker is being Spider-Man.
Especially since everybody hates Peter Parker right now, and Spider-Man's coming back out of the positive fold for everybody.
And I think they made a great segue from Peter Parker like being part of a lab and like getting out of that. It's like that was not Peter's vision. That was Doc Ock's vision. Doc Ock did all of that. And Peter was like, well, I mean, this is where my life is. I can't just close this.
Yeah.
So circumstances led him to where his life is now. And I love it. I think it's bringing you back in touch with who Peter Parker actually is. Everyone's been losing faith in Dan Slott, his ability to write Amazing Spider-Man. I do feel like he's taking care of this character.
You say everybody like it's not including you.
No, I don't mean like that. I myself, like reading everything, like the last Green Goblin arc was awesome, but between Superior Spider-Man ending and the Green Goblin storyline starting, crap.
Yeah.
It was just boring. It was never, I mean, Spider-Man was never at the forefront. It was about all the other spiders, and like, it's just kind of where I get to when I'm reading a book and that character's not in it, like TMNT. Sorry, name drop. But I think this is a big turnaround. And I hate to bring up, what is it? Was it last issue? No, issue 32. I don't know if you didn't read that. But there's this cool scene.
2 issues of Amazing, and then I dropped it.
There's or maybe it was 31. There's a cool scene where Peter's fighting Doc Ock, and Doc Ock like throws like a concussive thing at him, and Peter Parker's wearing his original outfit under his mech outfit. The mech outfit gets peeled off and like he gets destroyed, and under him is the like Todd McFarlane like best Spider-Man costume ever. And I was literally like, fuck yes, that's Spider-Man. Like, he doesn't need all these gadgets, which is kind of why one of the reasons I didn't like Spider-Man Homecoming that much is I'm like, that's too complicated to suit.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. The nice thing about Spider-Man is that he was one of those characters
becomes the focus, not Peter Parker.
Question about Spider-Man Homecoming, since you brought it up.
I can't understand who you're trying to represent when you talk like that.
That was me just talking. What are you talking about?
Holy shit.
It's like sometimes you're like Apollo Creed, sometimes you're Rocky Balboa.
What do you mean? I was just talking.
I want you to talk like Rocky Balboa the whole episode.
Hey, okay, let me ask you about this Homecoming. This guy from Queens. So, like in this movie, he doesn't have spider sense, right, in that movie?
No.
They don't put a focus on it. They do show it one time.
When?
It's slow-mos. It's at the beginning when at the school. He reacts. It's not like they don't go like and then everything.
Oh, I see. It's just he reacts to something.
But like he gets to dodge it because it's just like a literal like you have to be looking. You have to be looking for it. It's like a little tone, and then he just kind of like.
I'll tell you what, I got Rocky sense in that ring. They hit me 3 times. 4th time, I'm ready.
Is that winner or when not? You just keep your hands down.
Yeah, I mean they hit me in the face 3 times. They get tired. 4th time in the face, not gonna happen. Tell you that much.
It's not so bad.
Jeez.
Sorry, I broke.
Ain't gonna be no rematch.
That's the nice thing about Spider-Man is that it wasn't about the gadgets, and even when he was in the lab, it's all about the gadgets. That I always like the Spider-Man that's about his ability, about his mentality as a character.
Right.
He always wore that spandexy suit that got ripped all the time.
Yeah. But best part about this issue is like he's been apologizing the last 2 issues for all this shit. And then Johnny comes up to him and he's like, you know what? I'm going to blame you some. And Peter Parker's like, I've had a fucking enough. Like, I'm Spider-Man.
I've apologized all day long.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't need to apologize. I was doing what was best. I mean, the other outcome would be people dying. Nobody died. Yes, they lost their jobs, but like, let's weigh this out here. People dying, people losing their jobs. I'm sure they love being alive. And so he's like, you want to fight? Let's fight. And basically, Peter took all his anger out on Johnny, and then they were both kind of like, this is stupid. And then they have a really good character moment on the top of the roof of the Baxter building. And he's like, I would never like do this on purpose. I would never like sell the Baxter building.
Can you say that again?
What?
What's on the top of a house?
Top of the Baxter building is what I meant.
I know, but what's it called?
The roof.
The roof?
The roof, whatever.
See, I guess I say it the way you do. I say
South
roof.
Dakota thing, whatever.
Roof. It's a Midwestern thing.
Bunch of hillbillies.
ROOF.
Roof.
The top of the fucking building. Sorry, I just fly there.
On the outside of the ceiling.
You don't say roof? You say rough?
Roof.
Roof.
Rough? All right. I just wonder.
Hey, you put crackers in your soup, right?
I mix them with my bagels.
I like bagels and schmear.
But I would give... I think the first part, I'd give a 9.
Yes.
This part, I'd give an 8. I think leading up to the last couple of pages, it was kind of slow.
Yeah.
But
I liked issue 1.
If you would have cut off the first half of this issue and mixed it with the first part, it would have been a 9 or a 10. I think there was just a little too much cloudiness in the beginning.
I think actually for me it was the fighting with Johnny, because I'd seen it before. It's I don't need them to fight. I get they're fighting. They're friends.
Right.
They fight. I have some friends. I fight with them sometimes. Not you guys.
Sure, but from Peter Parker's perspective,
You bring it up going, I've apologized all day long to people. I'm not going to apologize to you for this choice I've made. So, and I agree. Issue 788, 789? No, 789.
89
was great. I loved that issue. Yeah. Great issue to jump into. And this is an 8. It's good. I'm excited to see where it's going.
It kind of bothers me that it's dipped. I mean, it barely dipped in quality. Like, I hope that's not the trend. I hope it's going to dip back up. But
you were at the shop with me yesterday, Marvin. I did decide to drop Despicable Deadpool again. Yeah, I gave that first issue, and I was looking through it. There's a spoiler at the end of the book. I just was flipping through it.
Let me ask you a question about this Spider-Man. This is amazing. Do you think he does it for Johnny?
Sell it?
Because I heard you got to do it for Johnny. Outsiders, read a fucking book.
I don't get that reference either.
You never read Outsiders?
I've read No. What was I thinking?
No.
All right.
Is it... What book
Sorry.
Is that?
You want to the next book?
I don't read C-list teams.
Hey, say to me, ain't gonna be no rematch in a second after I read this.
Ain't gonna be no rematch?
Don't want no rematch. Go ahead.
Is that the second fight with Mr. T where you got your brains?
Anyway, this is a weird.
Hey man, I gotta be in character.
This should just be called Rocky Halloween Show.
Hey, Rocky Horror Show. There we go.
Next up, we got Flash number 33, which is Bats Out of Hell.
Man, I'm faster than him.
Bats Out of Hell Part 1. Don't worry, I'm charging up my chest beam right now. Gonna fucking blow this motherfucker
Fast
out.
man alive. You never seen Rocky Balboa?
But I'm faster than that guy.
I'm gonna go back in time, kill Mickey before he says you're gonna eat lightning and crap thunder. I'm just letting him hear you say you're gonna eat lightning, and then Iron Man's gonna shoot you at the fucking wall.
I tell you what, that was still the best laugh on the show. Anyway, so tell me about Flash.
So
Bats Out of Hell.
It's written by Joshua Williamson, with the art by Howard Porter and the colors by Hi-Fi. So I don't know if I've been Free Talk. I announced it. I haven't read Metal number 3, but I don't think it was necessary. I didn't need to know nothing. Maybe a little bit that they're off. They're
all separated.
They're all separated, trying to find the dark metal.
Well, the moment in here where he throws Superman to the next dimension, that happens in Metal 3.
Yeah, has already happened.
So that's why I said this takes place during Metal 3.
But you see that happen in this book.
But there's something with Superman.
They do give you the context. You don't need to read Metal 3, but that happens in Metal 3. So spoilers.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go. Like, my first book on the stack is Metal number 3.
Just saying you fucked up?
Oh, yeah. I just pulled a George Lucas on this fucking book. I'll be okay.
What does that mean?
That means
back in time to do.
I'll go back and do the first ones for some.
Hey, man, we got to go back. Jack
out of context reason.
Jack Shepard?
I think Howard Porter
He didn't even hear me. Go ahead.
So many jokes. I think Howard Porter on art was great. I love Howard Porter's art. I think for some reason, like, he should be on the Flash more often. Like, there's a lot of
He's in a couple issues, right?
Oh, really? Because I didn't care for this art.
Man,
well, he did the button.
For what? He didn't.
He did some issues on the button.
Oh, he did the Flash issue, yeah.
Right.
I don't like the way he draws noses. The faces bug.
His faces are a little weird, but they're not out of proportion. They're just stylized in his style. I know what you mean. It did at first bug me, but then I kind of looked at it and was like, man, it seems fine.
Like, there's some like the panel work is great.
Oh yeah, his panel work is amazing.
But it was just mainly the faces that bugged me.
Mainly his Flash and one page. If you go back like to page 3 or 4, yeah, a little bit.
Bugged the shit out of me.
Well,
anyway,
I mean,
you know who should be fucking doing art for Flash book? I mean, a little off topic, but you know the guy who used to do what's that Gotham Academy book?
Yeah. Who was that?
He does covers for these. Every once in a while, these issues, Flash, he does the covers. What is his name? I just had his name when I brought him up and then I forgot. Anyways, whoever he is, you should look that up. Gotham Academy. He should be drawing this book. He does some of these Flash covers.
It's like Kirscher. Is it Carl Kirscher? I can't think of the guy's name.
Carl is his first name.
I think so.
K. He goes K, not C.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yeah, he should be on that book. But Howard Porter's good. He's a nice substitute. There's three good artists, the Flash that should be drawing all the time. Howard Porter, this guy, whatever his name is, you're looking up, and Carmine does a really good job too. But they're all different styles. You know what I mean? Like it usually when they trade artists in a book, they're usually similar styles, but in Flash it's just whatever, which is fine. I mean, as long as I know going in who it's going to be, so it doesn't throw me off.
Story wise, I mean, it was very easy for me to catch up and like follow along with what's going on without reading Metal number 3. What's nice about these one shots is how much like the story they try to put.
Carl Kirscher.
Yeah. That's not the name I found for this. So
they put in relation to the actual hero. So like in this case, the Flash, like you get visions of all the multiverse at the end, which I thought was awesome. I thought it was excellent. Going through different versions of the Flash.
Oh yeah.
It's
good
with like Iris and Wally and things like that. But it's being experienced through Barry's eye for the first time. So that's very cool.
You know what? This issue felt to me like a lot of loose ends from other stuff that they were trying to wrap up and other things.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed it, but it felt like all over the place.
There's one part I hated about this issue, and that's what you just said. They wrapped up the whole Barry being pissed at Iris and whatever. They were just they blurbed it.
I'm sorry that we fought. Okay.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna
hey man, it's
sex
apocalypse.
later.
You know what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
It's either that or Mad Max, you die. So like, what's gonna go?
So
what's gonna go with?
What's gonna go? That's what I heard.
There's just a lot of questions I have. Like,
what are you gonna do? Huh?
Conveniently for the story, the negative Flash powers are gone.
That's what I mean.
Are they gonna come back next?
A lot of stuff's just like, hey, move on.
Yeah, it's like this is the 3-month break. We're gonna sizzle.
It was decent, but I mean, I thought he was gonna fight Red Death, and this is the only issue with it. So
is it? Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's the only issue out of Flash. I think
you have to go to read Justice. There's 2 issues of Justice League where they're all going to fight the people.
Because we'll get those 2 Justice League books.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I was going to ask you guys.
That's how they get us.
Did you get those 2?
I'm going to get
those 2, and then it's a new writer.
Wait, did we miss 32? That's next week.
32 is next week.
Okay.
So you get the next 2 Justice League issues are going to be tie-ins with Metal, and then the next one after that is the first one with Christopher Priest. So like I'm thinking I'm just jump on early because I'm going to jump on when Priest goes on anyways.
Brian,
I won't get the free.
Get the fuck out of here! You're gonna get Priest. Priest he was an Eisner nominated.
I'll give him a chance, but if he does too many flashbacks,
when do you have to admit? I mean, like what you like, but I mean, admit that it's good if the guy was nominated for an Eisner.
But it's not my style. It's not the. Yes, I'll agree. Other people like him.
Admit that I'm not crazy. You guys act like I'm crazy for like.
No, you can nominate people to be on a ballot, but if nobody votes for them, it doesn't.
I'm just saying that. Yeah,
they nominate you for that simulation. You know,
for other people who like him, great. You know, good for you to get him on another book.
Yeah, good for me.
Well, you're the only one on this table who liked him for he was Deathstroke, right?
I'll give him a chance. I mean, I think I loved what was the story, the Lazarus contract. I thought he did a great job in that.
Yeah, that was good.
People
got pissed at him for that.
I think maybe he's finding.
Where'd Wally go?
I think he's finding his stride.
Waldo?
Yeah. As a writer.
I don't know where he is.
Oh. Well, let's go look for him.
He was on Deathstroke's team and the Defiance team.
Waldo?
No,
Wally West.
I know, but where's Waldo?
He's gone.
Holy shit.
Hey, that Lazarus contract, we have a special edition of the Wednesday Comics. Marie and Garrett talk about it for an hour, so you're going to go back and find that if you've ever read that or think about reading it or want some context to what's happening.
Trade now, too.
Might be on trade.
Or coming close.
If it is, you got to promote that thing.
Yeah.
People like that episode. I like that episode.
I think it really fits
We need to do more of those episodes, like one about TMNT.
Of course.
I guess host one in here. What's he doing? Lifting weights?
We should plan one, and you should make it a point that I'm going to be there, and I just won't show up. It'll make total sense. Because people will be expecting the character to be in there, and then I won't be there. And then Alex will be like, "Oh,
yeah, it would be fair. Your brother and you look what like."
Garrett just pulled the TMNT on us. Wow. Shit! But I give this
an 8.
8.
7.
I was gonna say 7, but I enjoyed it at least.
What I like about it is that we get.
I know 7's good.
We get to see the 7 most of the Batman, like the evil Dark Knights,
Devastator, Merciless.
There's a 2-page thing that bothers me when he's talking to all the Justice League, and they all have to be like, "Yeah, me and Green Lantern are doing this thing right now. Yep. Hey, me and Deathstroke are doing this thing right now." It's like it's that exposition. It's just like, man, come on. There's no way you're talking to Flash and be like, "Hey, I know you saw me live with Deathstroke, but me and Deathstroke are going down to the whatever trench."
Yeah. And then all those supporting characters just disappear.
It's like, yeah, you know
Flash
Justice League
is coming up next. Yeah, it's like, fuck.
Flash knows what they're doing. He was there when they were like, let's go do this thing.
Yeah.
Don't act like you know.
Well, he doesn't know that.
Yeah. I say, like, I think we're going to see more of that fight between the Flash and Red Death.
That's what I mean.
But it's not going to be at the forefront, which is going to
It's for him, though, because he hasn't read it. It's for people who haven't read the actual Metal. But then why would they even be interested in this issue.
Yeah.
This is another case of I'm not getting what's on the fucking cover. This was literally like the cliffhanger page.
That's what I mean. Even if but that's going to be in Justice League. So if you want to get,
but I don't think they're going to put as much focus on it because they have to cover all the characters.
Those Justice League issues are drawn by somebody who I like. I forgot who it is. Should look it up. Justice League 32. But still being written by Brian Hitch, so whatever. The art's gonna be good though.
The thing I liked about this book is I like the when they're talking about the other four, at least the other four Batman, that they're bat caves. You know, they all have their own separate kind of bat cave.
All right.
And that underwater one, I tell you what, would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Being in the boat.
By the way, I am now sweaty, so you can turn that on whenever you want. Bottom tier. Let's go.
As long as you're twisting my arm.
Wow.
Hey man, I know no one for twisting arms. That's MMA. I'm boxing. You know what I mean? Hey, let me tell you a little joke while he's looking that up. Turtle jokes, and you brought up turtles. You know, I got a turtle. I bought him some of this moss food. He gets stuck in his throat though. So I got hit on the back of the shell. You know. But you know what it causes? Shell shock.
Wow.
So, hey, let's talk about this Punisher Platoon number 2. Why am I talking to listening to the Spanish accent? Garth Ennis is the writer. Goran Pavlov is the artist. Colorist Jordi Belair. Jordi needs more work, doesn't she? I mean, she's out there doing one book a year, probably.
She's doing her own book now.
I'm being sarcastic, you fuck.
Oh, fuck. How am I supposed to believe Rocky Balboa is being sarcastic?
Punisher the Platoon.
Joke is a horrible knock-knock joke.
Punisher Platoon is about those reporters talking to Punisher's Platoon about the time when he was in the Vietnam War to get this skinny on this character known as Frank Castle. What was he like before he became the Punisher? Before his family was gunned down? Was he a cold hearted killer? Or was he a normal man and the actual family thing actually turned him? Or did this war make him that kind of person? What do you guys think of this book? I know it's very different. The art is kind of rough. I mean, I'm used to that from reading the other two team-ups.
Are you talking about the roof?
The rough.
Oh. What was I looking up?
Justice League 32. Sharp. Liam Sharp, that's right. He's doing the two issues. What do you think?
I don't read that.
Oh, you didn't read this?
No, it's just you and me.
Oh, fuck. Get it?
But I like Platoon, the movie, and Punisher's pretty cool.
What do you think, Alex?
Issue 2 was really strong.
Yeah.
I liked it better than issue 1.
I read 1 and 2 back to back.
Yeah. Did they read better back to back?
I read 1 in your mindset because you said you really didn't care. It was a little different when you thought it was going to be. You said, right?
Yeah.
I read it. It is a little different when you're talking Punisher Platoon. For what you expect from it. But, I mean, it really is more about a Vietnam book, that first book.
Well, and I understand it's the Punisher before he was the Punisher.
And so in the first issue, the sign that we're seeing that maybe he really is a cold-blooded killer before he even becomes Punisher is he calls it that airstrike, right?
Yeah.
And he calls it an airstrike.
To blow up.
So his captain, what do you call it? Commander? Is like, no, this area is all clear. And Frank Castle, without permission from him, grabs the remote. It was like, no, I think I see something up there. Bomb this whole area, and they bombed the whole fucking area. Like, you can't be safe. You can't be safe. Like, I'm not going to risk my life going out there when we have a chance. Like, just take it out now. If there's somebody out there, they'll die. And you could see that his commander's just like, what the fuck is this guy? And people do die, but we don't really know who they are. And we see
blows up a whole little village, isn't it?
Yeah, and we see that there's a lady that survives in the first issue that she decides that she's going to seek revenge on the Punisher. That's what she's going to do because he bombed her village. So now the second issue we have, it starts with the whole platoon because, in the future, the reporter's telling him the story about how he bombed their village and she was going to get revenge. And they're like, how do you know all that story? And he talks about how I want to go talk to, on the other side, the Vietnam commander.
Yep. I can't remember what his name was. Giap?
It's right up to the page. Yep. Letron Giap. He talked to him and he's like, he loves America. He understands why we fought the war, but you have to understand also why he fought the war. Like, you guys fought for America. He fought for Vietnam. I mean, you both love your countries. So he wasn't fighting because he hated you guys. He was fighting because you were invading his country. So they talk about it. He says, so I went to interview him for this story to see what he thought about it. So it's nice seeing another perspective. Speaking about our book club coming up here is going to be Vietnam War from the other perspective too. So we'll probably see a lot of that too.
Both perspectives, yeah.
Yeah. So we get like this standoff basically in this issue where they're controlling a certain area, right? Mm-hmm. And they don't want the Viet Cong to get in that area. They don't want to take it over. So they're protecting it. And at first they're talking about how certain people seem to enjoy it, but he said I don't think really he enjoyed it. He was just scared.
Well, this other guy, you get caught up in what you're doing.
Yeah, this other guy. What's his name? Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember the
name. Not Frank, but another person was like always laughing when he would be feeding in the bullets. And the guy's like, he was just scared, man. He wasn't happy about it. It's just he didn't know how to react. All that fear in him, he just started laughing. So they used to call him. I forgot what they used to call him. Something like I don't know. Something with giggling his head off. They used to call him something about giggling. So anyways. So they move on to the story. They talk about how they fought into the night. Right? And then there's some part where the Vietnam broke through the lines and they're coming right up.
So they're running up to their barricade that they're at.
And what do they call that at the end? At the end of the guns? Bayonet. Get your bayonets ready, they say. And they go, okay. So then he's like, and then you could see who really people are. And there's the whole page splash of Frank Castle stabbing some guy in the fucking head.
I tell you what, I looked at that as a holy shit.
Like, yeah, but everybody taking care of business. People choking people out.
Yeah. One's up here, machine gunning.
Like, that's when, you can shoot somebody from afar. That's okay. And maybe you'll get messed up for it. Maybe you won't. But hand to hand, there's no way you're not feeling hand to hand. And
say, you're watching this guy's eyes die. You're feeling him die. It's holy shit.
I think
this is a great page.
Yeah, I was going to say the art's really strong in this page. I think this whole issue, I like the style.
I have to admit, the first issue was a little getting used to. Like you read, this was the same artist as Fury Max, right?
Yeah, Fury Max and Punisher Max.
It was a little bit getting back into this rough and.
It's a little rough. Yeah, it's not clean. So when you see people, especially.
But I tell you what, I don't know who anybody else is other than the Punisher. Obviously has that defined face.
He's got them blue eyes, baby. Stare right into them before he kills you. Cold blue eyes. You know what they say?
Which in this issue they really make reference to.
Behind blue eyes, the Who. So then they are fighting hand to hand, and they say, "Hey, nobody's guarding. What's the gun called? Big gun."
The gunner.
It's right here. Oh, the Medusa. Nobody's guarding the Medusa. This fucking gun's huge. If they get to that, they're going to fucking smoke us. And they go, somebody's going to get back to it before they even are done finishing. Fucking Frank Castle's heading for it. And they're like, don't leave a man behind. Like, go after him. Go get him. Go help him. And he gets up there. They don't need it. Frank doesn't need their help. Fucking takes them all out.
I love that bottom shot right there.
Shoots one guy, takes another guy in the throat. By the way, when I read this part, I was like, Alex is going to love this part. He's like using everything he has to take out these guys. And then, he takes out the two guys, and he's able to grab the gun, turns around the people that are remaining, and just
annihilates them all.
Boom. Look at this panel right here. Like, he just takes them all. That's the kind of art we're talking about. Like, you see people's like pieces of faces, like their jaws broken off and stuff like that. And then he turns it on the rest of the people. They all
Is it a Gatling gun kind of thing?
It's kind of a Gatling gun. Okay. Yeah. Medusa.
Isn't Rambo. That big 50 cal gun he's using.
You know what Rambo does in that movie? Hey, I got this movie called Rambo. Actually, I mean, not me.
Is it over the top?
The person who plays me in these movies.
Love it. Kind of making me feel a sense of dread.
Nice.
So they realize that, like, hey, everybody in our platoon made it. At the end of the day, they're like, hey, nobody died. Then they see the camp or the headquarters. What is it called?
I thought it was their base headquarters.
Their base, base. The base is on fire. So that's how the issue ends.
Nice.
Very strong.
Yeah,
but also, like, it's very this book is very interesting to me because it does answer the question, what made the Punisher? Is it really because his family died, or was he a cold hard killer before and there was nothing ever going to stop him from becoming the Punisher? That was just another thing to remind him.
Trigger, basically.
Like, maybe he went back to his family and was like, okay, maybe I can recover. Like, he was on that edge, and then his family died, and he was like, no, people suck. Like, people are fucking horrible. Let me become this guy who's going to avenge people who can't avenge themselves. But I mean, you've seen here, dude was killing innocent people anyways. Like, is he really? I mean, not innocently, like knowingly, but he was like, "Who gives a shit?"
But like you said earlier, for the guy who lived in Vietnam, he's fighting for his country. That's all the Punisher's doing. So
That's true, but
he's doing what's best for.
When he called in the air raid, it's like, is he really fighting his country, or is he just killing people?
But he's taking part. To me, it's a strategic stand of, you know what? Yes, there's how many innocent people are really in that village? Yes, there's probably men, women, and children. But how many of those men are going to be those killers that are going to come out and hunt my people? I don't know. I mean, it's a.
But I do like we get a book that's not just like all action for the Punisher. It really is examining his character. Like, who is this guy? How do you like? And then the way that they're framing it, the way that Ennis is framing it is from the future reporter being like, "Who is the Punisher?" Like, I realized that he tells in the first issue, he wrote a story about the Punisher, who he is today, and he's like, when I got to the end of it, I realized I didn't write a story. I wrote the end. He goes, the story is what happened to him out there in Vietnam. Like, how did he become this person?
How it relates to who he is
Yeah,
now.
who he is now. Like,
Crazy.
I need to know how he became who he is. So that's what he's trying to figure out. I really do like it. Is it 6 issues?
6.
I think it'll be a really strong 6 issues. Fury Max, I think, really wrapped that up nicely. We had Punisher and Fury Max during this, so like it's kind of like not technically, but it's kind of like a spin-off of Fury Max because he was in that book. I'm sure we'll see Nick Fury.
I think Fury Max is one of those ones that you always talk so highly of that I still want to find that book.
I think you read that book too early, and you started reading comics at first, and I like pushed on you right away, being like, "Hey, you should read Fury Max."
And it was a hard book for me to get into, even.
But I think you went into expecting like action something like that, but it really is like Nick Fury realizes in that the politics of war and realizes how war is just like fucking horrible, and how you manufacture people in war that become these monsters like Barracuda. That would they be these kind of people outside of war, or did they use war as an excuse to just kill people? So that's what we're examining in this, and it's really good. The art's amazing. I think Corey Jordi Belaire's art
Coloring.
Jeez, it's hot, and we're drinking, so like Jordi Belaire's coloring is.
I don't know how that woman has time to do anything else.
You know what? How does she have time, and how does she do it so good every time?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I've yet to find.
Cold? Yeah, I want one of those if those are cold.
Yeah. I'm saving the treats for a campfire time.
Oh, buddy, that's good. So, hey, we might be dying to
Laughter
again. Hey, man, you know, up in Philadelphia, I wear this because it's cold, but like up here, it's hot. What are you guys doing here? And so, like,
Jesus,
the coloring, like, there's just that one issue, like that one panel when he gets the Medusa and he turns it around. You see the guy. And you see the gun towards him, and the next page is just his head gun, and it's just all red. And you know what's happening because of that coloring. Like, he's fucking, his head's gone. You don't need to see pieces.
There's no bones left after he just blew off his head.
You don't need to see pieces. You just see red, and you're like, oh, he's dead. That guy ain't alive. Adios. Great Beyond.
Whew.
I really like this. You should not get in this book.
That surprises me.
The only reason I'm not is like I haven't read any of the Max stuff.
Don't need to.
No, to be fair, you don't have. This is a.
But
strong
for me. Like I don't know a lot about the Punisher. I mean,
this is what it's for. Examine him.
I know, but by issue 6, I mean, yes, he's going to be the Punisher, but like, is it going to be his origin story?
No,
I think that's where I would
to me, this is all.
Well, even going back to
Frank in Vietnam.
Yeah,
and his travels through this country.
I would go back potentially, but
I mean, Garth Ennis has told this story before. He's told it in Punisher Born. So like he's told this Vietnam Frank story, but this is more about like
on the field.
Examining like
because it's not even always just necessarily. I mean, it's about Frank, but it's also about all the men that he's leading with him, and all the stuff that he's had to go through just to protect these people. Because like they tell you in this issue, none of their crew died.
I would be scared of this fucking guy if I saw him on that field. How big? I didn't realize he's so tall. Punisher's supposed to be that tall?
He's a big guy. I mean, he's a big guy.
Like you see him. Look at those eyes.
I think he's got to be
with those blue eyes.
I see this and I think of Bernthal, and I'm like, I don't know. They look very
Look at that.
different.
Even the design on that Frank's outfit is just like.
Don't fuck with this.
They really took the time to like make sure it was accurate. So like, if you like anything about war, get this book. Like even if you like the Punisher, like you want a war book, I think this would be it.
Issue wise, a 9. This is a strong issue for me.
What else we get? What else we get?
Would you give it for a grade?
I said 9.
Did you say 9? Did you hear him say 9?
I might have thought
Affirmative.
9. I might have thought
a 9. Okay. So, of course, one of our favorite books. We got Deadly Class number 31, Written by Rick Remender. Art by Wes Craig. Colors by, is it Jordan Boyd?
Yep.
so.
Justin.
Nope, Jordan Boyd.
Jordan.
That's right.
Dang.
Jordan. I said Justin. So at first we get
Justin.
at first we get the flashback to the pep rally.
Which I don't know if I like that was the day before. Do you think they could? I mean, I guess where's King's Dominion located? Originally?
It's in Southern California.
Oh, it is? Okay. I was going to say.
think it's
can
Los
literally be
Angeles.
in Mexico the
Los
next
Angeles
day.
or San Diego, one of the two.
Well, somewhere near the border. 'Cause you can't
Santa Cruz,
I don't know.
Well, somewhere secret.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Hanna-Barbera?
North Pole.
This issue was awesome. I'm a Marcus and Maria shipper all the way. Like, fuck Saya or whatever. Like, she's awesome. She's cool. But not as cool as Maria and Marcus.
No, I agree. Maria is one of my favorite characters. And
I think more of that stare was that he said that you thought it was awesome, right? No?
No. I mean,
you didn't know what shipper means. I don't think
I didn't know what a shipper meant.
he doesn't know what ship means. That's what it is.
that means you're for that couple.
Holy
relationship.
shit. I did not know that.
This guy's not on the internet. You got to scale
damn.
stuff back, Garrett.
I like
19.
their
They like-
relationship.
Oh.
But I think Marcus, God, I love that character. This issue, I think, because what we got the first couple volumes, Deadly Class, it's in his perspective. And this is from the perspective of the new class, basically. And it just makes you miss Marcus's perspective. And him being in this book is just a treat. Like, the more I get to see them, like Marcus and Maria, I'm just like, God, this is so good.
I love the original class, but there's a part of me that I want more building from the new class. Still.
It did rush into me
because I feel like what's her name? Is it Zenalea or whatever? Zenzele. I want more from her because that first issue, I think it was
22.
Was it 22 when she first showed up? Okay. When you see that cover and she's holding the hammers, I immediately think of Hammer Girl from Raid. Think, oh my God, she's going to be so fucking sweet. And I'm just getting kind of they keep making her dial down. And I realize that's her character choice is to be
peaceful.
It's peaceful. She doesn't want to she's not a killer. Well, maybe
because
she
the
is.
one time she did let loose, we're finding she killed her parents, potentially. That's the rumor.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked up that we've been seeing her write letters to her parents since issue 22, and none of them have gotten to them.
Well, I thought she really was sending them. But there's other ones that
King's Dominion.
But there's other ones that they're not sending, that she hasn't sent, that she's written. That's what I understood.
I felt like she sent them, or she wasn't meaning for them to actually be sent.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We need to know more. But it could be either or.
So you didn't like them at the pep rally?
No, I just didn't. I pulled an Alex in this issue, and I'm like, so this pep rally, you think pep rallies start in the morning? Like, they're literally going from Southern California to... I mean, my geography might be way off.
It's right there on the border.
Really? Okay. So, yeah, then maybe that's
4
fine.
hours away.
But, like, they made it seem like that, like, an issue or two ago, that it, like, took some time. They were doing a road trip. Like, they...
You know what was really strong in this issue is the art and panel work.
It's the drugs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When they take
shit.
those drugs and then we get those scenes of
It's like an orgy,
trying to be
basically.
provocative, but it also, like, have the panels in front so it's not full on sex scenes. And it's, like, kind of like, oh, what's going on? It's that kind of confusion of, like, where is everybody? Like, in a party. Very strong.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, I was like, man, I love Wes Craig. And Wes Craig did the art for the book we're going to read, right? No, never mind. He did the colors, right? For Other Side?
I don't know.
Yeah, look into it.
We are helpful.
Jarvis? Yeah, he's still working on that ACM at like 54%. It's been a while.
But even like in the beginning part, yeah, I thought it was like, I thought we would get a whole issue about that. And I thought actually when I first opened this up, this was going to be this issue. And it was just like, what, 2 pages?
Yeah.
3 pages? So I was like, oh, okay. Well, nothing really big happened.
Whoa. Shabby got his face burned off.
Well, yeah, but
last we knew.
Right.
I thought it was going to be a whole issue worth of stuff. But
I mean that ecstasy scene
Yeah.
was nuts.
I liked
Especially
how
for the Marcus Maria shippers.
relationship
lovers.
Well, I was gonna say the Marcus and Maria when they're talking, and it's the 3 panels of progressing to what they're doing, where he's just talking to her. Then he's grabbing her boobs, and then the next one she's grabbing.
She's grabbing.
Then then the next panel, it's as time moves on, she's grabbing his crotch, she's grabbing her butt. I was like, oh, that's really just nicely placed.
Yeah.
Well, then how you just kind of mentioned that Zenzali you don't know too much about her. Still true, but it was kind of nice to see her she's been such a tight ass.
She's been loosening up.
That she literally sees this guy she likes, swallows the pill, and let's go.
I didn't see now. Are they sharing the pill? Because I saw her look like she's pushing it back into his mouth so they could share this ecstasy together.
It could have been.
Who do that with X? I don't know.
I mean, she could have just taken it and then
no, but you see the white pill in between their tongues.
You know what's really good about this issue? I think Rick Remender's really good about showing the relationship between these kids. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still kids, but also there's humor, there's drama, there's also the love between them two, and also small moments when she's talking about and he's like, "Come on, I feel a little uncomfortable right now." He's like, "Man, we're kids. This is the one time we can be provocative. What's the word? Provocative and be loose and have experiment and stuff like that. You're not gonna live forever. This is your time to live."
Right.
And that's when she finally gives in, which is really a teenager thing to do, to really examine who you are at that point in time. We talk about all the time. I think this is Rick's most personal book, him growing up and what he used to do. He used to be big into music and in this kind of scene. You add the elements of the assassins, which just happened in this issue, and it's really fun and great. But the moments that are great, I think, are actually not the beginning and not the very end, but that middle part when they're actually just kids hanging out and talking to each other and looking at a skateboard and being like, "Man, I love that. I love that kind of skateboard." Or when they're talking about Iron Maiden and they're doing really cool.
Yeah, I like
Iron
how
Maidens.
Marcus and Helmet they share that connection because Marcus loved that music and he's like, "Dude, you're speaking
Iron Maiden too."
Music.
And I think that's really that's a solid part of this book. And no matter where this book goes, if it goes into assassins following them to Mexico, if it goes into samurais on top of the roof fighting these people, at the end of the day, it's still about these kids being kids and really just trying to figure out who they are. Even what was her name? Zenzali trying to figure out who she is because she really doesn't know. She's really mostly basing who she is on who her parents were and where she grew up. And now she's in this environment where she feels uncomfortable, but mostly because it's not in her comfort zone. And she's trying to break out of it. And she does in this issue. So it's really good to see a comic book series about teenagers that's not safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's drugs, there's violence, there's sex.
It's honesty.
This is what kids
in
are.
The 80s
Don't try to be oh no, kids are all innocent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teenage books about teenagers out there that try to play it safe, and I think Rick's just man, when I was a kid, this is the shit we were doing, and our kids are still doing that. I mean, you update the technology, update the situations, and that's 2017, but back in 1980, this is what he went through. So I really like that part of the book. So, those stuff is great, and it adds a gravy on top of what I'm eating. But what I'm eating is that's what I'm going for. Is these moments when they have that talk, when Marcus and Maria, this relationship that we've seen blossom over this time, come to a point where they really are into each other. Maria's no, Marcus is mine. That's my one guy. And when you see moments Helmet relate to Marcus or Marcus relating to who was the other guy? Quan. No, it wasn't Quan. It was the other guy.
No, it was Quan.
It's Quan.
Was it? He's a skateboarder?
To Smalley.
Because Quan was kind of I don't know, fit in on this.
Oh, no, yeah. When he's talking to Quan, and Quan's he's what are you in this corner for? Being a loner. He's I'm kind of a loner. He's and they're talking about that.
He goes, what happens to mice? Single mice who are just
my God, that was such a great scene when he's talking about he's mice when they're by themselves and when they get choice between water and cocaine and water, they always go for the cocaine and water. But guess what? You introduce more mice and they go for that water every time because they realize that they don't need the drugs to be happy.
Because they're around more people.
They'll be around more people, to quit being a loner.
Start doing social things.
And it really shows you that Marcus, even though he is willing to kill a guy, put a gun to his head at the beginning of this issue, that he really is a nice guy at the end of the day. He's trying to make Quan feel more welcome to this group. Be hey man, you need friends. Don't be a loner. I used to be a loner, and it's not going to work out for you. It's not going to be a happy place.
We should talk about the last 5 pages.
Yeah,
which I thought were fucking excellent. The one part that I thought was amazing. So Marcus and Quan have this talk, right?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that Wes Craig made this choice with his art. So
the pocket?
No, because like right before, like you see Quan like shoves the blade in his back pocket. Yep. Then you see Marcus and Quan hug. Like I knew in the back of my mind that knife was still there, and then like you see Quan being exited out, and you don't see the knife. Like he didn't show that it was like Marcus pulling the knife out.
But you see don't his pocket flipped out. His pocket's inside.
That's what I'm saying. But you have to look for it. Because
give me that issue. Where is it?
When you get to the last page of the issue with Victor and what's his girlfriend's name or whatever.
I don't know.
I can't. Whatever. But like, she's laying on the ground, bleeding out with Quan's knife in her chest.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, that was amazing. That was like a sequence that like you let my mind fill in that Marcus is so fucking sly that he pulled that knife out of Quan's back pocket and was like, I knew, like he's basically like Marcus is like, yeah.
Well, once he embraced him and his pockets flipped inside out, I thought, holy shit, Marcus stole his knife. But you don't see it. The knife isn't in his hand. You don't see it actually happening. You just see the pockets already been flipped out. Goes to the Coke machine, like you said, and holy shit! I tell you what, those last 5
pages
solidify. What did I say?
Issues.
Yes, pages. Sorry. Drinking.
Last 5 issues were great too.
I mean, they would happen, but I tell you what, that solidified, like you said, the gravy of a 10.
Right before, it's a 10. Right before that panel where he takes the knife out, there's also Quan. It's like telling him that he's a loner. He's like crying. He's like smoking. And there's that panel where he kind of puts the cigarette down, and the panel's like follow his cigarette. I thought it was such an amazing way to like track your eye to like because you were watching the cigarette go down, like the show motion, but also to let you know like read it this way, going down rather than reading left to right. Everything about this book, every time I read it, I'm like, motherfucker, isn't this book like everybody reading? How is this thing not?
Everyone should be reading it. Like right now, go back, get the other issues, get trades.
Like I don't even think
read it.
This book not even before earlier I was joking about the Deathstroke group being Eisner nominated. I don't think this book was nominated.
I don't think so.
That's crazy.
Like it's crazy. This book is so great. And you know what? A lot of people on the show I've heard or like you guys talk about it so greatly. Like I want to start reading this book. But it amazes me that they're not reading it already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's one of those books.
How's this like a sleeper?
For as often as we talk about this book, if you have any interest in it, just give it a try. This book will suck you in. And
if you bought them and you're like waiting to read it or you're thinking about reading it, I would just go back to 1 and read it. Go back to that first arc and read it. Like just start and you're not going to stop. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's a school about assassins. But it is about assassins, but at the end of the day, it's not. It's about those kids. And if you growing up, you're going to relate to one of these kids and you're going to relate to something that they're doing. I mean, even if you're not like, you didn't grow up doing drugs, sex, all that stuff like that, you're still going to relate to being a loner, being this person who doesn't know who they are, and being a person who really doesn't know, like, if they are happy. Like, Marcus wasn't happy until he met Maria, and then he's happy. And now Quan's kind of not really happy because he sold himself out. He sold himself to these people who he doesn't know if he really, like, why do he sell to these people who don't like and love him? And then now he has these friends, and Marcus is talking about being friends, and that's why he's crying. He's not crying because he's a loner. He's crying because he betrayed these people, and they love him so much, and he's trying to be a loner because he doesn't want to feel attached to them.
Yeah.
He wants to, like, if he betrays them, he doesn't want to feel ashamed of it. And he goes to that booth, and he orders to Victor, and Victor's like, okay, we're going to kill them. And that's when he realizes, he goes back, he's like, no, these are my friends.
These aren't people. Saves them. He lets them know.
He's like, these aren't people that I'm going to betray. These are people who, when they thought, when we were just all hanging out, like Marcus came over to me and he's like, man, don't be a loner. Like, let's all be friends. And he's not going to betray that kind of guy. Like, that's the guy he's going to be friends with now.
The coolest part about Quan doing that is you can see them all running. He said, there's one person missing. It's Marcus. And the coolest cliffhanger of this issue is Marcus stays behind. Victor's looking out the window, is like, fuck, we gotta go kill him. And then Marcus, you can just picture him like cocking the gun. He's like, hey Vic, long time no see. What a fucking
I cannot wait till Vic is killed.
You know what makes me want to give this book a 9? Rick Remender and Wes Craig. 4-month wait for the next issue. 4 months.
Where'd you see that at?
In the letter pages. He said 4 months to the next issue.
4-month wait. There was another thing I was going to bring up. They're filming the pilot during that 4 months.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
So.
When's that show going to be on? Sci-Fi?
Yeah. But
we'll see.
Yeah.
If they have to, like, really embrace
I mean, Rick Remender being on the show, being an executive producer, having a Deadly Class TV show versus not having a Deadly Class TV show.
4 months is fine.
4 months is good.
Wait.
I was say 4 months is
Rick says it's 4 months so they can be on track so that way they have no delay issues. That's fine.
totally cool with that.
Oh, one more last thing we got to bring up, just real quick. The most heartbreaking part about this whole book, I think, is when Marcus brings up Billy. Like, hey, where's Billy? And then Petra's like, oh, Billy. Like, I'm like, oh, dude. I flash back. And
I had to think about who Billy was, and then it dawned on me, oh, Billy's the fucker that got locked in that damn room and poisoned to death.
Or even Saya, when she's like, where's she at? And they're like, she's dead, man.
Yeah.
And Marcus feels guilt for a second, and Maria's like, man, we couldn't do anything. Like, we had to save ourselves. Really good.
10. 10.
I hope sci-fi really understands that it's not just an action assassin's tale, that it really is about these kids.
It's too bad it's not going to be on like Netflix or on a streaming website where you can do.
Sci-fi's done good stuff before. Battlestar Galactica is really good.
What was the one with the metahumans? I watched that.
What? They used to have the show called.
It was like they experiment. It was like metas were showing up. Oh man, I don't
know. Continuum. They used to have a show. Continuum was pretty good too. They do good every once in a while.
Yeah, there's a couple I've watched on Saga that have been fine. When they're like, I get Deadly Class isn't really science fiction, but I'm sure they still do produce television that's not really sci-fi. All right, last book of the evening is Detective Comics number 967, written by James Tynion IV. Sorry. Let me find the fucking thing.
It's right in the beginning.
What?
It's right in the beginning.
Sure? I just looked.
Like second page, third page. Eddie Burroughs, right?
I gotta take off
those Martinez
up here real quick.
Oh, really?
It is Martinez, Fernandez, and Mori.
Oh, really? Eddie can only do one issue?
2
issues?
But now, to be fair, I thought this book looked amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Like even better than Burroughs was doing. So
yeah, I think
Burroughs has been dropping the ball.
He's good when he has time, but I don't think he had time for those issues. What do we got?
Shit, it's not right in the first couple pages, like you just said.
Last page, then. Brother Eye. Spoiler. Well, we're talking about the book
not
anyways.
even there.
Well, let's talk about it. You figure it out where we're looking it up here.
I loved this issue so much.
It was awesome.
This was
Detective.
probably one of the strongest detective
arc,
books.
God, it's so fucking good, dude. That last issue was really great. This issue is really great. So Tim Drake shows up and
Alvaro Martinez on pencils, Ralph Fernandez inks, Tomei Mori and John Franco Baloo as colors. Booyah.
Baloo from Green Valley.
Hey, Georgie, you want the Baloo?
You want that Baloo? Come down to the sewers.
You like popcorn, Georgie?
Ooh, popcorn. Georgie?
Anywho.
So Detective Comics, in this issue, Batman finds out, Bruce Wayne finds out. There's a lot of Batman, so we got to say who it is.
Yeah, there is.
Bruce Wayne finds out that Tim's still alive. Finds Tracker. Offers like, hey man, Tracker's going up, buddy. And he's like, oh shit, he's back.
It's in Gotham.
So he goes and goes, hey, and they find him just as soon. He's like, hey man, the Tracker's now on Gotham Hospital. What is it called? What do you call hospitals?
Whatever. Gotham's
I was
hospital.
gonna say, it was Bruce Wayne. I mean, Bruce Wayne owns it. Bruce's hospital.
So he shows up there and they're like, you can't come in here. He's like, Bruce Wayne owns this hospital. Get the fuck out. And they're like, oh, what? All right, Bruce Wayne. And he's like, Tim, don't get up right now. He's like, hey, we have to stop my future. So he explains the situation.
Do you love that he leaves his outfit in the fire escape? I think that was fucking cool. Yeah. Like he's like, I don't give a shit. Like I got Tim's here. I gotta take this costume off and.
I see Batman. Yeah,
yeah.
He's like
Bruce Wayne, Batman. Sorry,
Bruce Wayne. Yeah. And then he tells them, hey, he's coming after Batwoman because Batwoman did something that starts his timeline to go fucked up, and that's when he has to become Batman. So he wants to stop that now because he realized, the future Tim Drake realized that the timeline right now is elastic, like it could be changed. It's not set anymore like he thought it was. He's going to try to change it. So they protect Batwoman, I thought, and then we get a scene kind of right after that I thought was really strong, where the future Tim Drake goes to see Alfred and asks him. He's like, man, like, and he's like, hey, I'm Batman. I don't want to be, like I had to be. And like talking to him, confiding in him, be like, if it really came down to it where I could find a way not to be Batman and not go down this route that I don't want to go down, like I had to, would you think I should do that? And he's trying to get permission basically from Alfred to kill Batwoman. And he Alfred doesn't answer time because they show up and they fight him. But I thought it was a really good moment.
They being Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin, Damian.
Yeah. That's really strong. And he goes to Alfred. Like I knew, like he's not going to Bruce.
Well, and I like
Alfred's
that,
sympathetic too. He's
and I like that
Master
Bruce
Tim,
asks, "Where would you go if?"
Yeah, and he's like, that's
go see Alfred.
That's when current time Tim Drake's like, oh, he's gonna go to Alfred.
And you hadn't mentioned it, but when Bruce goes to the hospital, and there's that big splash page of Bruce hugging Drake for coming back. Oof, I tell you what, this book
feels.
Yes, this issue had a lot of feels for me.
This was what I was thinking. The first issue of this arc would have been.
That's what I'm amazed so much every time I read Detective. I mean, there's been a couple arcs where it kind of lost it, but most of these arcs since James Tinian's been on it since Rebirth, a lot of heart. Like it usually wasn't like that. And I found in the past James Tinian stories really didn't have it for me. He was more like it was more pure action, and like I found that he really does find his stride. Like when we get to that page when Tim is back and everybody sees he's back and they're kind of like hugging each other and they're having those moments together and he meets Luke and Luke is like, say, man, I wanted to talk to you for so long. I got some questions for you and stuff like that. In that moment, I'm reading those panels. To me, I was like, man, I love this book. Mm-hmm. Like right when he's talking to Luke and I was like, everybody on this team feels like their own person. Everybody on this team has a purpose. Everybody on this team is like exciting to read. I don't care who's on that page. It could be Spoiler. It could be Clayface. It could be Batwoman. Anytime they just cut to one of them, I'm almost like, I'm so in this. It's not like they cut to somebody. I'm like, man, they're a weak link in the chain. Now they cut to somebody. I'm like, man, I like this book. Like every single person. And they got a tech guy. And then he says, and then Tim comes back after all this time from being away. And he's still the Tim he was before. He's like, I thought we were going to call ourselves Gotham Knights. Like I'm at a round table and stuff like that. And he's like making jokes and shit. I thought that was like, still, I was like, man,
that was cool.
Fuck, God, this book. Really amazing to come out of Rebirth and really be, for me at least, I think you guys too, James Tinian, to be like, he's really a strong writer.
Yes.
Before I was like...
Yeah, he had some good arcs, like with Green Lantern and things. Others were like...
Before I was always like, James Tinian, I was like, I'll wait to see what people think about it.
Yeah.
But like after this book, I'm going to be like, he's like one of my writers. I'm like, man, he's a good writer.
Absolutely. And it's kind of cool to see, like we've seen... what happens if Jason goes bad? What happens if Damian goes bad? I mean, Nightwing, not really. But, like, you've never seen a super smart... I mean, Batman's smart, but you've never seen, like, Tim Drake's smarter than Bruce Wayne. We know that. Like, to see a Tim Drake, not necessarily evil Batman, but again, like what we said with
the
villainy
Batman that Alex likes, the one that's really thought out of your possibility.
Yeah, he thinks he's a hero in his own right. Like, he is a hero, but he thinks the only way to save himself is to kill Batwoman. This
is the Dr. Doom Batman.
Yeah.
One plan for everything.
That's a perfect.
And he thinks he's doing the right thing.
So there's that part where he tells future Tim Drake tells past Tim Drake, just do one thing for me. Make sure you make up with Connor. And he's like, who the fuck's Connor?
I know who Connor
and
is.
I read that panel. I was like, oh, Garrett's head had just exploded when he read this.
Oh, what a fucking
What
joy.
do you think? So we're going to get probably... actually, I know for sure.
So, okay, one more, just so I know. It's Superboy, right? The other
it's
Superboy.
Connor Kent, bitches.
Connor Kent, the clone of Lex and
It's Lex
Clark.
and Clark. It blew my mind. Like Marvin had told me that Connor was coming back, but I didn't know how they would introduce him. And I'm like, he gets introduced in this detective book. That's a great
becomes
way
part of this team.
Holy shit!
Let's say for some reason, like we see in the Batman book, he might be retiring and stuff like that. They get rid of Batman in this book, and Connor's part of the team as their heavy, like as a guy who's strong. Still, it's a good book. You know what I mean?
Holy shit! This book would take over for Teen Titans in a heartbeat.
And then you could actually use that freaking logo where the bat symbol is either on the outside of the Superman symbol or inside the freaking Superman symbol.
Hey, when they were going over like the why Dick wouldn't be Batman, why Jason wouldn't because he died, or he didn't die, he got his leg cut off and an arm cut off, right?
Yep.
And why Damian wouldn't because he fucked everything up. I really like that Dick
Grayson
bat suit of like the blue logo. I was like, I've never seen anybody do that before, and I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, where's that Batman? Can I read that Batman?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I could give two shits about Jason being Damian. I don't care if you're Batman, but I tell you what, that Dick Grayson with the blue bat, holy shit! I would buy that.
When can I read it?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we don't want to talk about Connor Kent too much, but you see that guy with that black shirt and the red Superman S, my head's gonna explode.
A lot of good stuff happening.
Is that who would have been in New 52?
No, that was a clone.
Okay.
A strict clone of Superman.
Okay.
and cybernetic technology.
This issue was a 10. When I got done reading it, I had already deigned this my 10.
I agree with that. The last couple
same.
issues have been really strong in Detective.
And they had another scene in the snow. It sold me. Give me some Eddie Barrows and whatever that color is that does snow real well. You got me.
Detective. If you read DC Comics, you're into Rebirth, or you're thinking about getting into DC, you're like, where do I start? And a lot of people like Batman. If you're interested in Batman, Detective, I think you get. I would say Batman, like if you really are looking for a different type of Batman story, but Detective, I think you go into.
I think the nice thing about that, what Detective does right now, is that it's not the Bat family isn't just Dick, Jason, Tim, and Damian, and Batgirl and Batwoman. It's everybody on this team. You don't have to be a Bat-related person. You don't have to be. I mean, it's just whoever's on this team. You're part of the Bat family now.
Yeah, it's like if you wanted to go on a Batman ride, this is all you would see. If you wanted Batman the melodrama, read Batman the book.
Yeah. Really strong. Yeah. I really like it a lot.
I think this was needing it because they were starting to do like small arcs, and which like that Zatanna arc was good. Anarchy was like focused on spoiler, and I was like,
Overall, like the story he's been telling, I mean, the story we had from the first arc that now is extending to this arc. Anything to do with that overall arching story is great. Yeah. Anything they try to do beyond that is just good. Right. Like I've never felt like this book has been bad.
Just like keeping up the status.
I've had slow issues, like you said, the utopia and dystopia issues before.
Yeah. Slow issues, but I always thought I know there's something beyond this that's gonna be better. So
they're filling in information for us. I cannot say I love this book. This was an issue that it reminded me of when Damian left. Not Damian. Sorry, Drake. When Tim Drake left when he died.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's at the beginning of this issue when he's watching the replay of Tim dying. He's like trying to figure. He goes, "Man, I just took it as is. Like I didn't even try to look into it." And Bruce is doing that. By the way, Alfred brings him coffee to go in a thing, but on a tray. I'm just like, he can't. Well,
you can see in that scene too. There's a little muffle in the recording right when he's dying. So that's probably the part where Oz like.
Oh really? I didn't see that part.
And you can barely see it. It's like a.
Little,
but I like how this story.
Scramble.
Go ahead,
I liked how Bruce admits whoever did this knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
and they planned this out meticulously because they knew what I would look for.
But maybe now he's going to look into it, right?
Oh, dude, detective work right there.
What if this next arc like it crossovers with Superman and it's Batman and Superman?
Doomsday soon.
Going against
Doomsday's
Jor-El.
next month, right?
Yeah.
So
Doomsday Clock first.
It's right after this arc.
So good.
Bruce is going to look into it. You can see because the first cover has Bruce on it, right?
You know how you're not supposed to raise your expectations for any book? My expectations are fucking through the roof.
We talked about that when you were gone, about Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it's Jeff Johns, Scary Frank.
Yeah. Amazing.
And anybody's going to give that story justice. If anybody realizes what the expectations are for that story, especially at New York Comic Con, Jeff Johns said this is a sequel to Watchmen.
Yeah.
And he said the only thing you got to read is Watchmen for this book. That's setting things up on a bar that's like, this has to be a classic.
Well, just think what's at stake. All this buildup in Rebirth from every book.
Yeah, it's the whole line. Yeah.
I mean, this is 2 years of time. What is it going to be? 2 years by the time this
book
is done?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot of time that you're expecting your readers to put in. That's a big title to be saying. This is a direct sequel to Watchmen.
Yeah,
one of the biggest books ever released.
If this turns into before Watchmen, we're all fucked.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You can't it's been 2 years of story that I actually think the information we've been given out and the way that's played out has been nice and slow, but nice that it's like a building kind of momentum to this Doomsday Clock.
Right.
And so when we get to it, it feels like it's going to be this climax of the story rather than going into being like, oh, like the first couple issues aren't going to build up, but we've been building up for 2 years. Rather than, at least it's not been 2 years of like constant, like watching things like, fuck, just tell us. And it hasn't been 2 years of like nothing. And then we have to like.
Wait, are we talking about Thor?
Oh, and then we're gonna get a mini series about it. We've been seeing things here and there. We've been seeing Oz. We've been seeing people coming back. We've been seeing things like that. So like when we get to it, it's not going to be, oh, where's this all coming from? It's like, no, we've been building this. We're ready for this. You're right though. Like that thing is like.
Oh, it's gonna be so.
It's only set up to like it's gonna be so high that on our list of expectations that it's gonna set itself up to be like. Fail, you know, but I hope that I read it and be like, man, if I was excited for this thing like on a 10 and it still blew me away, like this is great.
I just look at that cover and I could almost tear up. Like
I think that the nice thing for me is that I don't have the expectations you guys do. Like I'm actually pretty.
Jeff Johns.
I'm
It's
pretty.
Gary Frank.
I know, but I'm still on the. I'm pretty low on the excitement. Once we get closer, I realize, and you two chatting up a storm about it, I will be as pumped as you are. Right now, I'm still holding myself by the collar, going.
Here's the thing.
Don't be excited.
Here's the thing about my relationship with Jeff Johns. I read his whole Green
You guys
Lantern.
are friends? Holy shit!
Mr. Jeff. I read all of his Green Lantern thing, and I thought it was excellent. And then he went into New 52, and he was writing Justice League. I read like the first chapter of Justice League. And it wasn't that it wasn't good, but it wasn't really. It was too much action stuff, and I really And the characters were like way different, and it really bugged me. So when we got to DC Universe, is that what it's called?
No,
that 80
DC
page Rebirth. That
DC
80
Universe
page,
Rebirth one shot.
when that came out, I really was excited for it, but also I was like, I don't know. Jeff Johns has been good recently, but like, is this gonna be the Jeff Johns I know? Is this gonna be Jeff Johns of Green Lantern? And then we got it, and I was like, this man really knows how to tell a story, and so now I'm like expecting that guy to come back.
Yeah.
So hopefully he does.
I mean, I saw him working on this last November. I mean, he had printed. He
Well, you at his house?
No, on Twitter, he put up a picture of Dr. Manhattan, and he was like sizzling everybody. But that's probably when he started working on this series, because like to announce that it's going to be a 12-issue series like Watchmen, he's probably got half the series done already, or if not,
honestly, I guess he's got to be working on this since he put out the one shot.
Yeah.
Going, by the way, this is where it's leading up to. This is all the hints I'm leaving you. I got to get started on this right now.
And Gary Frank's known to be meticulously slow, so you got to give that guy a lot of time.
So I'm hoping that it's not delayed, but if it is, I'm fine waiting for that book to be flawless.
That's Punisher Platoon number 2, Deadly Class 31. The Flash 33.
Yeah.
Detective Comics 967.
Amazing Spider-Man 790.
Saga number 48. Pick up those books. Very great books this week. I thought it was a very strong week. The only one, Flash was the only one I was kind of like, whatever.
Agreed.
But the rest of them were strong. I like them a lot. Well, what we're going to get into, it's a holiday spirit.
Hold on, let me get you some flying cauldron brew to get ready for this.
Garrett brought some what we call flying cauldron. Brought to you by Flying Cauldron. We're going to talk to you. Originally came into this thing talking about what should we do, Halloween episode. Do we do top 5? Do we do recommendations? What do? We decided at the end of the day, hey, buddy, let's just sit around
Campfire
this.
Stories.
Campfire Stories is what we're going to call it, where we just chill out for a little bit here. We're going to talk about scary moments, comics, scary issues, scary series. Just talk, people around a fire, tell some stories here. Very loose. Loosey-goosey. My notes are on that thing, so it's going to be very loose. I don't know if I remember it all at this point in the day. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad we're doing a loosey-goosey storytelling, because it's hard for me to come up with an actual top 5. I've got a top 5, but there's other books that are more scary than other books for me.
Let me start it off with this kind of a question. We can build off of this. Has there ever been a moment in comics that has made you afraid? That really, like, you get scared? Because, it's very easy to get scared in a movie.
Right.
Because, like, a jump scare especially, like, you're not expecting it. It's visual audio. It's very easy to scare like an audio book or some sort of audio thing you listen to because you're listening to something. But a book, you read at your own pace. So, like, is a book or even like a comic book, like...
Okay, so in all honesty, The Shining, I know it's not a comic book, but as a novel, it actually does.
Rock, use your muscles.
Oh, it is twist out.
No, you gotta have like thumb muscles and
hey man,
measurable upper body
I tell you what, Mickey hasn't taught me to take those off yet.
You went from Eye of the Tiger to Eye of the Pussycat.
What's going on here?
I read The Shining about 2 years ago, and I tell you what, I was paranoid while reading it. I would read it at night, and I remember one day I'm reading my book,
bottle.
and I look into my doorway at my mom and dad's house, and I swear to you, there was a golden eye in my doorway looking at me.
Oh,
scared
shit.
The piss out of me.
Hey man, this is the Eye of the Tiger. You use that for motivation.
Oh well, it motivated me to stop reading for the night. Watch Friends just to like relax.
You know what? Like I said, comics you turn at your own pace, so you can really like be like, turn something quick or like kind of ignore a panel to like get over it. So it's very hard to get scared in something like that where you control it. But I believe there's moments that I don't expect to be scary that I look at and kind of like I think about in my head, and then it kind of like puts this fear in me. Department H.
Yes.
When they're going all to that central room and then they realize they're stuck underwater, every room's flooded, and you get this panel where it's all dark and you just see them in the middle. Like they know there's no way out, but they got to the room, they can help them now. And you get that panel with all that darkness. I thought, like, I looked at that, wasn't expected to be scary, so I'm just staring at it. And I was thinking about being like how fucked you would be, how like hopeless it is. Really scared me. Mm-hmm. Like I just thought about it so much, and I was just like, you get this sense of dread being like it's not scary now, but like I know if I was down there, I would be terrified.
I think most of Department H related things are scary. There's issues where you're in the open water and there's that squid, and there's one panel where I turn the page and it's the squid's mouth is open towards you, and I tell you what, it's a picture book, and it made me nervous to read it.
Well, and then there's also the voice mimicking
or the spider things.
Spiders.
Yeah.
Like that's creepy. They like
that's what that book does.
Their goal is to invite you toward them. It's like a mechanism, like, Dracula, looks attractive.
Yeah, I think Department H does it a lot where it's like, hey, this is a book about a mystery. And then it brings you to this place where you get something like that, or you get the squid, or you get this part where you get stuck. And it's really the horrors of the underwater. I think there's even a page that talks about how we know more about space than we know about our own underwater planet. There's how much is the world covered with water?
Is that 3/4?
Yeah,
3?
so.
Not more than that. 90%.
Oh, I thought it was like 75%, but maybe it is like 85%.
Generally, a lot, just more than half.
It is disappointing to know that as a nation and a world, we know less of our own water ways.
Do you want to know something? How much of the Earth is covered by water?
The answer is about 361 million square kilometers.
That tells you nothing.
That was helpful. That was helpful.
Well, that you brought up space, it makes me think of is Alien Dead Orbit. What is the artist's name? I can't think of it.
James Stokey.
James Stokey. What's so great about James Stokey's art is like the spaceship they're on. It's like playing Where's Waldo looking for an alien. Mm-hmm. Like the alien and his art of the ship looks so much the same that like you could be staring at a panel and literally there could be an alien just chilling there like ready to kill you, and then you turn the page and you're like, oh, I didn't even see there was an alien there, and it like eats somebody.
That was another book that I had actually thought about putting on my list. I mean, I realize this isn't even about a list book or book list. That would scare the shit out of me. And the way he is so detailed in his art, right. Holy shit.
Well, you can just see the main guy in there is just terrified. I mean, he's seen what these aliens can do because, like, if you've seen the Alien movies, usually it's, besides the Sigourney Weaver, like, first two, I mean, typically it's a group of people or a person coming upon the alien or the xenomorph and not knowing what the hell they are and adapting to it. Sigourney Weaver's the unicorn in that story, though, because, like, she knows it all the time.
Kicks the shit out of everybody.
Right.
But how terrifying is that? You get this organism that is meant for killing. Like it wants to survive. It's not even just trying to on that ship, trying to hunt. It's trying to kill them.
Right.
And if you try to kill it, it still will kill you. Like its blood is like acid.
Acid, yeah.
So like, was there really a way out? Like how are you going to kill it? The only way you can kill it, like shows in the first movie, is sending out the space hatch.
Right.
I mean, you could shoot it to death, couldn't you? But hopefully you don't get the recoil of blood splurting.
But if you're in space, like it really goes, it eats through everything, and then now you got open air into space. Like, how are you gonna get fucked?
Yeah. Or if you happen to have to reload for 2 seconds, you know how quick the xenomorphs are.
Yeah. And then it just has to touch you, and any of its wounds that get on you, then all of a sudden you're like, also now your acid all over you and stuff like that.
But this book, I think the way Stokey does it, he can really tap into, like with his art, the silence. Like it's just dead quiet. Like you don't, like he really teases you that the aliens are going to pop out at any moment. But like what you expect them to pop out, they don't. And when you least expect it, they do. And that's what scares me. Like I picture myself as that main character, like looking around every corner, like just seeing this hallway, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. Half the xenomorphs scare the shit out of me. Like that's my worst nightmare. Is I hate snakes, so xenomorphs the next step. So halfway down the hallway, it's just like pitch black, and so you don't know if they're gonna come out of the darkness and scare the shit out of you. Oh man!
I always imagine like the lights would flicker. And every time it flickers, they're black. So once it flickers, they move in the darkness. Flickers, they move in the darkness.
Like Batman and Dark Knight Rises.
Kind of, but scarier almost.
Gosh.
I know Batman's not going to kill me.
See, that's what like some people get scared of, like the Predators. I know I'm going off topic. It's those fucking aliens. They get me every time. Predators, I'm like, yeah, they're warriors. I get why they exist. Aliens, they have one mission: kill.
I've always enjoyed the Predators more, but I agree, aliens are scarier.
Yeah.
Because in Predator 2, I believe, or one of them, you can win them enough where they're like self-preserving, where they're trying to get away. But that alien's going to come after you until it either kills you or dies. So
yeah.
Another scary moment, I believe, in Witches. Scott Snyder's Witches. There's a part, first, second issue, I forgot what it is, where the girl gets trapped in the tree.
First issue. Holy shit. Scarier than hell.
Very scary in like a way that when you read Scott's back matter on that page, and he talks about anxiety and talks about his fears, and like he really is a guy that like is constantly afraid of certain things. And when you think about that moment when those two girls go into the woods, one's bullying the other and they get stuck in a tree, there's a fear because that girl's getting stuck in the tree from these witches and she doesn't know what to expect. That's scary. But also there's a moment that's scary for that other girl, because what does she do? Does she let that girl just go in? Obviously that girl's been bullying her. She doesn't care about her. Or does she save her? Or she does try to save her. And then when she's gone, like, who's going to believe her? Like, you get that fear of, what do I do? And there's that moment as a kid when, like something happens like that, you're like, I don't know what to do. So you get that fear from that girl, but then also there's that fear when I'm thinking, me like, if I was a kid, would I tell somebody? Like I start thinking about it, be like, what would I do? And be like, would anybody believe me that some witches took a girl into a tree? They're gonna think, and they do think that that's what they have to move, right? That they that she killed this girl.
Yep.
There's that rumor that starts, and she gets this really human fear of not just this girl that got taken by the witches. She has to worry about that, but she also is worrying about like now these people also think that she's a killer, and now she has to worry about being alone all her life.
Whenever I drive by a forest of any kind, now I think of this book, because like that, one of the parts about Jock's art in which is that I don't really enjoy, but I get why it makes sense for the story, and Alex kind of gets annoyed by it too. Marvin loves it. I mean, it's a good style choice. It makes it so you can't like see everything 100%. It's trying to make you like disoriented.
Yeah, and it works.
It works, and so like that horrifies me. It's just the end.
You know what technique? Actually, I thought about it because I've been watching a lot of horror stuff recently, and like trying to think from a directing perspective, like how do you build suspense when one person's chasing another, or you like are trying to expect to see somebody out of there. And a lot of times in movies I see them fail at it because they frame it as you can see one person like running and you obviously can see all around them. And I think a good thing that Jock does in that book, and a lot of things that good horror movies do, is instead of framing it wide like that where you can see everything, they frame it close. So that way all you see is the person. You don't know what's happening. Like you don't know what's behind them, you don't know what's in front of them. And Jock does it where like all that stuff's kind of muddy and all you really see is the person behind all these kind of spots and stuff like that. So you're looking, you see, okay, I can see the girl, but like what's going on? I don't know what's going on. And that's the scariest part of that is that what is going on? Like you can't see what's behind to the right of that girl or like in front of her. So you don't know when she turns that corner or when she's going up that tree in that one issue to get away from the witches. Are there witches up there? What's up there? I don't know what's up there. Because you're really close on her like that. And I think that's actually what's good about that book. In a lot of horror movies, if you're going to go see a horror movie tomorrow, notice that
Jigsaw.
like if you get a scene like that, how they should frame it close, because then you're like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Because it's that moment, like if you were in that situation and you get that tunnel vision, you don't know, like you're trying to run away, you're not seeing all around you. And the scary part is where is he at? And you don't get that benefit of a wide shot to be like, okay, now I know it's all around her. She's safe right now. No. She doesn't know what's behind her. Like if you get a close shot,
you know what she knows.
Yeah, you know what she knows. She's like, I can't see behind me. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. And I think that's what Jock's trying to do in that book with those blotches. You guys remember reading Witches too?
I haven't started reading it yet.
No, me either. I don't really like the way it's in those Image Pluses. Like, I really wish it was.
You only get 4 pages.
I've been getting the Image Pluses, but I haven't read it.
That's why I think I'm going to wait for it all. But
for the trade, because they did that with the Here's Negan stuff for the first volume. Yeah. They put it all in one continuous trade.
I think I'll wait. I do get the Image Plus. I do like they have interviews.
Oh, so you're just going to wait to read it?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay.
I don't like reading a story 4 pages. I barely like reading issue to issue. I'm not going to read 4 pages at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just I'm going to wait until I get however long the Image Plus has to be to read it, and then I'll read it all as one.
Yeah, that's what I did with the Here's Negan. So.
Can we talk about something that's kind of a mix between your Alien and Scott Snyder? I'm not sure if you read it. We read it. The Wake?
I have not read The Wake.
At least the first 6.
First 5.
First 5.
Because the 6th is the start of the
really
new.
Scary, that first 5. That was horrible.
I remember that being scary reading that.
Underwater again, but underwater. Basically, imagine xenomorphs underwater. If Department H mixed with Alien, that's what this book was.
Merman.
Nope.
It's like
water snakes. Nope.
The underwater, yeah, but you get these really smart mermen who are like trying to take down this underwater base.
Yeah.
I just remember that book being like Department H, where it's that seclusion underwater, but also like the xenomorph. I'm like, how the fuck did they get away?
If the Wake had done 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the same style that first 5 had been written, it would be one of my all-time favorite books. Because I tell you what, every issue I read, it gave me goosebumps. One, I am not a strong swimmer. I'm afraid of things under the water. I'm sorry, watching Jaws or watching 47 Meters Below or what's the one, The Shallows. I tell you what, I love sharks, but they scare the shit out of me.
What I actually just was talking, I was watching Jaws. But I was just talking about those close shots, so you know what's going on. There's a scene where Richard Dreyfuss's character is inside the shark cage. And that's how they frame it. They frame it close because he's like looking around, and all you see is his face looking around, really close on his face. So he's looking around, and you're like, he can't see anything, and you're kind of like, the fuck, where's the shark at? But all you see is him looking around, so it adds to suspense, being like, I don't know what's going on. In this book, Sean Murphy,
yes,
I think that a lot of that too, because I remember panels where it would turn it, and then like he did a lot of good turn pages in that book. And then in 5, here's the thing. We get all these things with these little, not little, but normal size mermen. Issue 5, we get that huge one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, we were like, oh shit, how are they getting away from these guys? And then you see like this huge, basically like giant squid size merman. And you're like, well, I think they're shit. Like, there's no way coming back from this. And it actually ends with the whole base going down, right? And she's the main character stuck down there. Doesn't she die?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's how it ends. And so like, and then they had a break between both parts because it was part 1 and part 2, where you're like, oh, guess the main characters.
So do they make it seem like even at the very end of the entire series that there could be a potential sequel to that?
Now it ends.
No,
it just ends. Yeah. It's over.
The first 5 try to be a horror book. The last 5 try to be like an adventure type book. Yeah. But, so it was different, but I like the first 5 really strong.
Like when you and I talk, Wake, that's all I think of is the first 5 because those are such memorable issues.
Okay, so if you're thinking about reading Wake,
yeah, I would want to. Yeah,
I was going to tell you the end.
I mean, you can.
The end's stupid. You know what we talk about all the time? Beginnings are good.
You guys have told me.
Spoilers for the Wake. If you're thinking about reading the Wake, fast forward about a minute. It ends with these mermen. It ends with you finding out that they were the first humans on planet Earth, and they kind of evolved into these mermen. But the reason why they don't remember that they used to be human is because they cried tears that made them forget the memories. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and reread it to actually get the meaning behind it. But at the time, I was like, what do you mean they cry tears and they forget their memories? Like,
I think, and maybe that's the problem for you and I, is that we read 1 through 5, and then they took that however long of a break. You jump back into 6 through 10, and it's like, this isn't the same story I remember reading. And 1, I was already turned off by 6. I was like, well, this isn't what I remember. So you're right. I think if I read 1 through 10, it's very weird
to go from a horror to that type of book. So, first 5 are strong though. I really like it.
I'm going to bring it into the DCU a little bit. Now this is a mini of a main event, but the Flashpoint Batman of Vengeance storyline with Martha being the Joker. Martha.
Why'd you say that?
I thought it was very horrifying.
Hey man, how you know that name?
That's your mom's name.
It's my mom's name too.
Martha Balboa. I thought it was a cool twist. Like no one expected it when that's something that we all started reading at around the same time. When you actually find out that the Joker is Bruce's mother, and like in this alternate universe, like Bruce is dead, his dad becomes Batman, and she's the one terrorizing Gotham. It's crazy, and she is sadistic. Like you think the Joker's sadistic, but when you think of a mother, you think of somebody that's comes out of love, like child embraces their mother kind of thing.
Let me know if I'm crazy, but I remember the reveal of her being Martha. Wasn't she like our son? They killed our son, and she's like freaking out and stuff like that. Man, that page, I remember reading that and be like, fuck.
And then she turns around and you see this huge grin on her face.
It's just like,
oh, fuck.
I actually think I found her more scary in that moment at the time than actual Joker at the time. I was seeing her being like, bring this Martha to us.
Well, I think it's one of those things that she's a woman who's lost her child, and now she's just gone batshit crazy. How do you handle that?
Brian Azzarello wrote that, right? Yeah.
But yeah, you think about like a mother think of like lions or protecting her cub. Like it's either if you get in the way of my cub, you're dead. Mm-hmm. And that's how this is a Joker with that rule. Like, Joker doesn't have rules, but Martha Wayne Joker has fucking.
I remember that 3-issue arc or run.
Doesn't she try to kidnap some kids?
Yeah, she kidnaps kids. And
that's her thing, yeah.
That's her thing. And then when she finds something wrong with them.
I remember that being like one of those. Flashpoint was my jump on point to getting stuff with you guys.
Right.
And I tell you what, that is still one of my favorite books to read.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's not necessarily horrifying. I mean, it is horror, but it's more like everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is as a character, and so to flip that to being like, this is what would happen if Bruce was the one that died in that alley.
Well, I had written on my list actually most anything Marvel / DC, because in real life I think of Ultron would be scarier than shit. Knowing that there's a being out there like Darkseid or Thanos or just all these other beings. Holy Moses, that'd be so scary.
Well, when I was thinking of speaking of Ultron, when we were Secret Empire, where he believes he's Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Like that dinner scene.
It's scary.
It is, because there's so much tension. There's the fight going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ultron's like, hey, why aren't you guys having a good time? Like, aren't we all friends here?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like you should be like, hey, pretend that you're having a good time. He could fucking kill us all right now.
Rip off that half face.
Yeah.
One other book that I had actually gotten last year was Nailbiter. Where
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, Joshua Williamson's book.
Where this whole town is not run, but is the
a lot of serial killers were born there.
Yeah.
And they went on to, you get this one serial killer that kills his victims who are nail biters and then chews their nails.
Yep.
As his signature. Fucked up. Joshua Williamson running Flash now. It's just like those horror elements of that come into Flash every once in a while. You just see where you came from. See this nail biter. Nail biter's really good.
Yes.
It's not coming out anymore, is it?
It's quote unquote ended, but I believe it could be open to starting again.
Joshua Williamson also did another book called Ghosted about, I believe it's this guys who tried to do or tried to do a heist.
When I was researching for tonight, that was on a lot of top 10 lists. Ghosted.
Ghosted is really good too.
Yeah.
Joshua Williamson, a really strong horror writer. I'm not, it's weird that he's writing The Flash.
He's in the negative Flash. It's gonna get scary.
If they announced him doing like DC, Justice League Dark or something like that, I think he'd be really good at that. Yeah. Speaking of DCU, Blackest Night.
Blackest Night was awesome.
There are a couple of scary moments in there. I think there's a moment where Elastic Man, right, his wife comes back, Sue, as a zombie.
That's the whole point about Blackest Night. It's like it's bringing all these heroes worst fears with people, their loved ones coming back to basically but evil versions of themselves to come back and hunt them.
It really examines that kind of zombie aspect of the stories about I mean, it's gonna be scary if zombies come back, but what if your loved ones come back and they're coming after you? That they're smart enough to know oh no, I'm coming after these people because that's I want to like not even coming back just to try to eat their brains or whatever, or try to like just kill whatever's in front of me. They're coming back because they're gonna try to kill you.
Did you get Blackest Night in issues?
Yeah,
you did. And if you got a lot of that side stuff, the best part about that whole run, I thought, was is it Black Hand? Is that his name?
Is that the bad guy?
Yeah, the bad guy. His journal entries. That is one sick fuck.
I remember. It's been a while, but isn't there an issue where he has dinner with this family
and he kills them all?
Oh, it's so fucking scary.
Yeah, you see it in Blackest Night the comic, and you read about his internal thoughts in the journal entries.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They were such a great supplemental.
I've never read Blackest Night or Brightest Day.
I got you Blackest Night, I thought.
Did you?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I haven't read it then.
You should.
You should. If you're going to read it, I would recommend reading. There's like a trilogy of Jeff Johns Green Lantern stories. Yeah. Start with Rebirth, move on to Sinestro Corps War, and then Blackest Night.
Mm-hmm. What's Secret Origin?
That's just
for Green Lantern. Origin, that is after Rebirth, but like they did Rebirth to be like, let's send Hal back in the right path, and then Rebirth was like, let's try to clean up his
I haven't read the. Was it Rebirth was the first one? I hadn't read that.
Yeah.
And I hadn't read the Sinestro Corps War. So I'll have to get it. You know what? Green Lantern with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps has really sold me on wanting to get more GL.
Also, the colors in Blackest Night, just because everything's so dark, when you see freaking Green Lantern light everywhere, it's so appealing to the eye.
There's also a part where Batman, at the time he was dead, but Batman's clone's corpse comes alive as spoilers, by the way.
I've seen
comes back alive. I thought that one was really scary.
He looks all gaunt and grody. Yeah.
It's like imagine Batman coming back as a zombie, but he's like still that kind of guy, and he's coming after them. So it's kind of like an evil Batman type of thing, but you get like this. There's a added element to when you get these type of zombie kind of characters coming back.
Don't want to stay in DC universe forever, but Gotham After Midnight had Constantine. It had Spectre, not Hal Jordan Spectre, but what's his actual name?
That was John
Jim Corrigan.
Yeah, Jim Corrigan. That book was awesome. It was more that Jim Corrigan was fighting himself because we've all read Gotham Central, and in that you don't see it from his perspective. You see it from the detective's perspective of the Spectre. This one, Jim Corrigan's like, I don't want to be the Spectre. Like, he's fighting it. But when something bad happens, the Spectre, he becomes him. And Spectre doesn't give a shit about right and wrong. He's like, well, he does. He's like, if you do wrong, I'm going to wash away the sin, which just kills you. I mean, ruthless. There was a black plague throughout that. It killed, you get introduced to this whole team, and little by little, some of them get killed off or poisoned, and they start doing horrible things. That was such a good book. I wish it never ended. It was written by Ray Fox. I wish it would have kept going on. The art was so good. But yeah, I think Spectre, it's kind of like the Punisher, when you see wrong, you think that you could show them the error of their ways. The way that Punisher or Spectre show people the error of their ways is they just take you off the map. They just end the equation.
I just wanted to bring up, we were talking about Scott before. Scott has a good series called Severed. It's a miniseries, 5 issues, I think, 6. It's really good. But a kid back in the old Depression, trying to ride the rails, runs into this guy who might be a serial killer type of guy. It's pretty good. It's one of his earlier books. American Vampire, also a lot of scary moments. And then I wanted to maybe we can kind of wrap this up here. Yeah. Something that's not really, and maybe you guys won't relate to this the way I do. Something that's not really scary, but it's kind of scary, in the Department of Age kind of way, where I don't expect it, and then you kind of think about it, and it gets really kind of scary. Especially at a moment where I was when I'm reading Vision. When I'm reading Vision,
I saw that on a lot of lists too. That people thought it was a horror.
When you get to the part when he is towards the end, when he really has that moment when he's like, "What do I have to do to protect this family?" And he realizes he can't really protect it anymore. It's gone sewn off the rails. This perfect family that he thought he could have. And I thought it really is kind of scary because when you think about it, yes, when you have a family or have kids, have a wife or anything like that, you really do think oh yeah, what's going to happen? Nothing's really going to happen to us. But then when one thing happens, the next thing happens, and Vision is kind of out there. You get hit or kill the Grim Reaper, but even still, like if you relate it to normal life, like one thing happens, nothing happens, and he thinks he can fix it. He thinks he can get it back to normal. When he can't, he starts unraveling, and he gets to a point where he's kind of like, what am I going to do? I can't do anything anymore. And you get that moment where he really does feel human when he's like, I don't know how to fix this. And that was really scary to me, being like, yeah, there are going to be moments when you're going to be like, how do I fix this? I don't know how to fix this. And it really turns out to be depressing the way that his wife decides to fix it and get it over with. And it's really scary when a moment when he's like, they're lost and trying to fix it. And then somebody else takes that moment into her hands being like, I can fix this, but it's not going to be easy. So I thought that was really like, it's scary, but also like, it's those scary life moments where you're like, I'm reading fucking Vision. I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm scared about something in my own life. You know what I mean? You get a story about these robots, androids.
Well, it's more of at least a more relatable fear.
And that's, I think, at the end of the day, and Scott talked about this in his Witches. By the way, if you read Witches and Issues, I would recommend getting Issues and read Scott's Back Matter. It talks about fear a lot in that.
Yeah.
And then Stephen King, I think, and any kind of person who writes and creates horror as entertainment or anything that when you're writing a story to create really something that's scary, you're going to have to look at what you're afraid of in life and what people are afraid of in daily life. Because you can have a monster, you can have something out there like a xenomorph or something like that. But when you really look at it, at a xenomorph, you're scared because you don't know how to fight this.
It's game over, man.
It's something so alien that's like, I don't know what this is. And you get that a lot in like war. You're like, I don't know how to fight this enemy. You get moments when Department H, when you're like hopeless, and that's what's scary about it. It's like against my control. Now I'm stuck. Like, there's literally like, I'm so human. This, earthly elements, this water, like I can't fight Earth. I'm going to fight this water under the ocean.
You can if you're an earthbender.
What's up?
See, fear is always of the unknown. That's
fear is always even if you build it as a monster, you really it really is people's fears that they face in every day, and you kind of roll it back. That's what makes great villains stuff like that. You roll it back to like how people can relate to that type of villain in their own life. And so, right, like that's one reason a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like horror movies. I don't like horror movies." And when I watch horror movies, that's really something that I look into, being like, "No, this isn't a story about Jigsaw." And like, but you're going to see Jigsaw tomorrow.
Yeah. When
you really see a movie like that, like Saw, like especially that first Saw movie, it's not a story about like.
People think it's just torture porn.
Yeah,
but there's actually a mystery or a story that's interwoven throughout.
But like in that first movie, what's scary about it is these people were abducted, it happens in real life, and like told, like when the monster in that movie is what they would do to save themselves over somebody else. And that's what's really scary.
Yeah.
And so anytime you read any of these horror books or watch any of these horror movies, you really have to think that's not Jason in Friday the 13th. He's not scary because he's an unstoppable monster. He's scary because what if I was in a situation on a secluded crystal lake like that? Like, it's not that he's like somebody could be out there and be an unstoppable monster, but I'm helpless out there all alone. That's why that's scary about that. Love horror, but I'm not the kind of horror guy I'm like full in.
Yeah.
Like I get into it like from that
in like droves. Like I don't. Yeah. It's not like only horror. Not
there's some people who are really into it. But
yeah. I mean, that gets
not that. I mean, you like what you like. I said been for saying for weeks. Like what you like.
Sometimes you got to take a step back, watch a couple musicals to let everything calm down.
Always remember to come back from the dark side. Let us know what horror books, horror stories you like. Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Let you know if you're afraid of xenomorphs at Garot2188 on Twitter. Let Alex know if he should read Blackest Night at Alex Pastrello or at Pastrami_news. Follow me at Marvin_Saguero. Like I said,
I just told Jarvis to send a bomb to blow that fucking thing.
Like I said, Marvin_Saguero on Twitter. Find out that Austin Powers 4 storyline. You can see if it's good. I don't know. Give me some tips.
Is it about chicken and waffles? That's the taco.
No, that's his Taco Bell answer.
Chalupa, waffle, taco, chicken.
You're laughing now. Wait to talk about buys. You know what? I actually did tweet at them, so they're just going to steal it anyways. Why did they buy it off of me?
No.
Chalupa chicken.
6 to 8 months. You see that on the market? You're welcome. Good week of books. Holiday. Be safe. I mean, when this comes out Sundays, you would have been out, but like happy Halloween. This is the last.
Not till Tuesday.
This is the new. I know, but this is the last episode for Halloween.
I know.
And people are going to be going getting Kesher Crunk.
Trick or treat. Smell my feet.
I don't want to.
Do something good to eat.
Hey, man, you know, I'm in that ring. It kind of sweats a little bit, you know? So, like,
These
get
shoes
down
don't
there.
breathe.
Sniff, sniff. You know what I mean?
Are you saying that you don't invest in condominiums because you don't use them?
Hey, Alex.
Yo,
Tell me ain't going to be no rematch.
ain't going to be no rematch.
Don't want no rematch. My name's been Rocky.
I've been your Witcher, Alex.
I've been your Iron Man, Garrett.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.